Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio, fourth and gold. It's fourth down, gold to go. And the gold is hopefully the betting winners we're going to give you on this show each and every Saturday during the college football season. We're here, Pub Sports Radio, fourth and gold, college football betting show. 2 hours, every game on the board analysis for your Saturday college football card throughout the season right here, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Pacific time. And it's great to be doing this show with three people that I've done a lot of college football stuff with in the past. Great to have the band back together again. As they say, Conor Mac, who of course I'm with every day doing various shows on this channel. And it's great to have, when we were putting this show together, there's no doubt that near the top of the list for me were these two guys, DJ Big Boss, Big Ragoo. I think their biggest passion in sports is college football. I think that they love it more than anything. I think their best work is college football as well. And so it was a no-brainer to say, let's bring on Big Ragoo, our old friend. Let's bring on DJ Big Boss to join us here on the fourth and gold betting show. So let's quickly go around the horn, get opening thoughts. It's the first full Saturday. Never mind that BS and nonsense last week. That was just a little appetizer. I don't consider that the first full Saturday. What, UConn, Fresno State, San Jose State, Southern Utah? We're getting all excited for that. This is the real first Saturday of college football. Full board and tons of big games. Conor Mac, how excited are you?
I'm hyped, and I'm really hyped to have Ragoo and Boss here with us. Yeah, like you said, that was the first when we wanted to do the show. I was like, we gotta get our guys on here. Yeah, we gotta get the band back together, baby. I can't wait. Yeah, last week was nothing. Full schedule. I'm ready to roll. I've been up early, man. Let's go. It's go time, baby. Let's go.
And Big Ragoo.
Let's roll.
Yeah, Big Ragoo keeps a low profile most of the summer, but he's back. He's ready. Big Ragoo, great to have you back with us here on the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. Like you said, let's strike up the band. Let's get the music playing. Let's cash some tickets, and let's hit this board hard today.
And a great segue into music is introducing DJ Big Boss to the show. DJ, how are you?
What up, though? It wouldn't be a show if I didn't wake up with the what up, though. You know, it's early on the West, but guess what? I'm dressed to impress, and I'm on my way. Let's go. I'm fired up for this weekend, man. Lots of notes out there for you college football fans, man. You know, first week, take it easy, okay? Take it easy. You don't know anything. We got to see what's going on. And stay away from the numbers because the numbers don't mean much.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. There's no question. We welcome in everybody, 75 live viewers and counting. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the video, get the word out that this show is every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. Let's get to it. It's exciting. Feels like that first day of school, breaking down this first game on the board. But we will go in time order of, when the games kick off, and also in rotation order. That's how it'll be. So we'll start with Western Michigan taking on Michigan. We've got the Wolverines 16.5-point home favorites, 66-65.5 the total here in this game. Definitely when you look at Michigan, every year I ask myself, is this team finally going to get it together on the offensive side of the football? It's always been an issue under Jim Harbaugh for years, cycled through quarterbacks, cycled through different coordinators. Now it looks like he's going to be going into this season with a guy that actually played kind of well late last year in Cade McNamara. And now the question is going to be, what will you get from him now full season at the helm here for this Michigan team? I think on the defensive side of the football, things look pretty solid for Michigan. Of course, McNamara was in a battle with two other guys, including a Texas Tech transfer, Alan Bowman, and of course, J.J. McCarthy, freshman. They have a new defensive coordinator. They bring in Mike McDonald. I think it was a good hire. This guy actually worked in the NFL with Baltimore, with the Ravens. So it's a coach that's obviously been at the pro level, and he's gotten the job done because Baltimore's had a good defense in the NFL for years. So I like the hire. So I think defensively this team's going to be fine. It's all about what can they do to move the football, and how good is this offense going to be? And certainly when you look at this, it's little brother versus big brother. I know it's a MAC school, but this is a talented MAC school, certainly on the offensive side of the football, bringing back Keaton Ellaby at quarterback here for this Broncos team. So, when I look at this game here, it's going to be interesting to see how I'm just not ready at this point in time to lay 16.5 here with the Michigan Wolverines. Not a game I bet, but the number seems it's in a good spot. And with Western Michigan's prowess offensively, there's always that chance that if Michigan's up 17, 20, 21, there's your backdoor opportunity for a very, very capable Western Michigan offense. So actually at this number, I'd lean slightly to the underdog just because I'm never comfortable laying this many points with Michigan, but it's going to be a game I end up staying off. Connor, any thoughts here? Western Michigan, Michigan.
I got to give a shout out to our guy, Termsy, $2.79 dono. He says the boys are back in town. We're back, baby. I know we got to get rolling, but I got to give these shout outs. And my guy, Jake from State Farm, Jake the Snake, Jake Kaiser, always rolls with us. It's our guy. He goes, let's go. Let's get this day going. Oh, man, Tony Cobb's another one, a daily dono guy for us on the baseball show. 10 bones, man. We appreciate it so much. Tell everyone, share it, like it, hit the thumbs up, all that good shit. And shout out to Stelio. I saw that comment. We appreciate it, man. Thanks for mentioning that about the baseball show. Thank you. I'll be real quick here. Michigan, I just stay away from them a lot lately. I don't. If I'm not going to lay points with them here, I'll watch them. Hopefully they're better. Like they got 10 on offense coming back, 7 on defense. Western Michigan can score, but historically in this matchup, they've kicked Western Michigan's ass. So I don't love it. I kind of lean that there should be points. Western Michigan score, but it's a ton here. This is a lot. Week 1. I have no bet on this one either. If I were to have free play, I'd lean to take the points with Western Michigan, and I'd lean under in this one. But this was a quick pass for me. Man, shout out Tony Bruscher with another $10 dono. Man, we appreciate it. Giving too much love early. Thanks, boys.
Yeah, absolutely. We appreciate it. Everybody, Tony, Jake, everybody with the donos, Turnsy, very much appreciated, guys.
Yeah.
I think there should be points too. And I was actually looking over, but boy, I mean, you're talking 66 with Michigan just doesn't feel like it's that right number at all, especially week 1. And we've seen some unders here in the first last Saturday and again the first couple days this week. So keep that in mind. What do you like here, Ragoo? Anything Western Michigan, Michigan?
Notoriously, this has been the MAC has been the Big Ten killers, right, over the years. That's like you say, big brother, little brother matchup. It's a strong number. I mean, we're looking at 16 points. I think the open was, 17.5. It's kicked down a bit. So, I don't know. You need 3 scores to get there. In my book, I got to see if Gaddis can produce it on the field with the offense. I think the defense will be fine. We're always talking about the Michigan offense getting up to speed, which hasn't happened yet. Harbaugh gets another reprieve. So, I don't know, little brother, big brother. I would. I'm not going to bet the game, obviously, but I think it's a big number, and I don't like the game at all. If anything, it's a lean towards the dog side, but they got to show me something first.
Yeah, exactly. And plus, we know that Western Michigan was beaten up in the past by Michigan in this head-to-head matchup. So that's the thing that does concern you. I'm with you, Ragoo. I'm leaning Western Michigan as well, but because I think with Caleb Ellaby, the quarterback, that offense is capable, and I like capable offenses getting this many points. I'd rather have the team that can score rather than the team that can play defense. I want teams that can punch in a late touchdown for me in the backdoor situation, which I think Western Michigan's capable of. DJ, what do you like here?
Man, you're gonna hear pass on a lot of games for me today. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna just keep it real with y'all. But I'm definitely well in talking about this one. I mean, sort of like Ragoo say, you got to show me something, Michigan. I didn't try to catch Michigan as a sleeper for the last couple years, thinking that they was gonna get their act together and get back on the road, and it just ain't happened. So I'm definitely not jumping out week 1 with any of my money nowhere near Michigan game. And I would absolutely have to lean towards Western Michigan side because, it's a interstate thing. This happens a lot. Whenever there's an interstate thing, you never know what these small schools will come up with. Those are like high mountains for them to climb to beat the big school like Michigan. So I would expect these guys to come out and play well against them. But if they finally got their act right in Michigan and they show us that in week 1, guess what? So what? Show it to us again. But that's about it for me.
All right, good stuff. We move on now to Army, Georgia State. We've got Georgia State 2.5-point home favorites, 49.5, 50 the total in this game. The total's been bet down 53 all the way down to that 49.5. And you can see why. It's probably going to be a very methodical offensive game, both sides. You know what you get from Army: triple option, run heavy, churn the clock, time of possession. That whole, style of play is always in effect year in and year out for Army. And this program's done a very good job. You got to give Army credit. They have been solid. They've been a good team the last couple of years. Now, they weren't decided on who their quarterback was going to be, but either one can play this offense. And both of these guys started games last year for Army, talking about Christian Anderson and Tyheer Tyler. It was down to those two guys at the quarterback position. They've both played. They both know this offense. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, regardless of where Jeff Monken goes with the starting quarterback spot for Army. On the flip side, you've got this Georgia State team, that's been looking to turn things around. Quad Brown is back as the starting quarterback. So we'll see how he fares here for Georgia State. But it's a team that on the offensive side of the football, some change coming into the year. Defensively, the one thing that I think could bode well here is when you look at this particular matchup against the run, it shouldn't be able to match up too terribly here, this Georgia State team. So going to be interesting, when you look at Army as well, a defense that really was outstanding last year, 275 yards per game, allowed 15 points per game, 8 starters back. So should be really good on that side of the ball. Like I say, Brown at quarterback is now multi-year starter now, so should help. But, the offense was good last year. The defense, not so much. But I think the defense for Georgia State improved. So you factor that in, with Brown at quarterback, it's going to be an offense where it's going to be, he's going to throw the football, but that's not his strength. His strength is his mobile ability, his dual threat capability. So I think you're going to see both teams in run mode a lot. So this total being bet down definitely makes sense to me. It's a question of now, do you still see the value at 49.5, but still would lean under the total. As far as the side goes, I like Army here. I liked it more above the key number of +3. I mean, they opened +4. It's +2.5. So you lose the key number there. But if you think Army can win the game, I think you can still bet it. And I still do think Army can win this game here. Very, very much like this Army Black Knights team, especially when they're in the underdog role. I would definitely look toward Army here, plus points. What do you think here, Connor? Army, Georgia State.
Yeah, this is one I'm not involved with. We know we're going to get out of Army. We talked about it earlier in our videos. They could have any of these quarterbacks play. They're just going to pound the rock. Right away, I looked at just under in any Army game. Georgia State, though, was good last year, especially for me in certain spots, taking them. I just don't love it here. They won a few games down the stretch. They beat Western Kentucky. Their pass rush was their best thing, but they're not going to be passing it here. Army. So just a game I want nothing a part of. I really don't have a lean other than the under.
All right. Yeah. The coach of Georgia State says we think we're going to be better against the run this year. Well, here's their chance to show that, right? Because that's what you're going to see a lot of today. Ragoo, what do you like here with Georgia State Army?
Let me give a quick shout out to our boys in the chat. Dommy, want to know who the hell these two new guys were? We're two old fellas, Dommy, just like you.
Stop playing, Dom. You know who these guys are damn well.
And then also, you remember when we were down in Miami, we met a guy, Sergio and Milovan. Well, those of you who pay attention to the contest, the super contest, our boy Milovan came in second last year in the super contest.
Nice.
And he won a chunk of coin. So shout out to our guy, Hugo77, for that spectacular run in the super contest, coming in second place. All right, now back to business. Army and Georgia State. The big thing here is we know both teams are pretty good on the defensive side. And I know Georgia State's got a lot of returners. Army, they go through that grind every year. Salute to our guys. Every year they get out in the field, they play, and then they go defend our country and our freedom. So thank Army for that. But on the field this Saturday, my main look here would be Georgia State's defensive reaction to the Army triple option. I don't know how often they've seen it, if they've seen it in the past, but it's something that I like. I like teams to go against that have never seen the Army option before, either Army, Air Force, Navy, all the academy type games. But Army's defense is stellar. So, and that's a sign in the total, dropping down. Like Ian says, even at 49.5, I think there might be still a little bit of value there because Army's going to control the clock for about 35 minutes a game, 35 plus minutes, and that bodes well to the total. But I still think Army will come out on top of this game. So I kind of like Army in the small money line spot here. I wouldn't take the points with Army. I would just forget about the 1.5. I would just take Army like plus 115.
Yeah, exactly. With it below 3, that makes sense. Maybe just go money line. Just expect them maybe to get the victory. I think Georgia State's improved, but like I say, Army has been consistently good these last few years, and it seems like they're the more known commodity. What do you think, DJ? Army, Georgia State?
Well, I don't really do a lot of military teams because those guys get me every time. They play a different style of ball. You gotta catch up to. So, but I have been all over Georgia State. This is 5th year for Sean Elliott, and he got 11 starters back on offense. So the offense is going to be well oiled and ready to go. And the defense still has its flaws. I expect some poor tackling in this first game right here. So I'm gonna go contrarian on this one, and I'm gonna go over, even though the market is going down. I'm gonna go the opposite, and I'm gonna go over because everybody's expecting Army to, we don't know what we got from this year to last year. So everybody's expecting that this team, well, sometimes these running teams run well and they score a lot of points. That's usually what happens. But they had some linebacker issues over at Georgia State. They didn't really address them all the way. So I expect a little poor tackling, some touchdowns to get away. And then I expect Georgia State to hit the scoreboard a few times, being that they got a well-oiled team back. Even though they do run the ball a lot, these run-heavy teams like this, it's how well they actually pass at the end of the day. And with the quarterback returning, Cornelius Brown, he'll have a chance to be able to put up a couple key throws and maybe get some more points on the board. So I'm going to stay away from the side, and I'm going to go contrarian, and I'll go over in this one.
All right, liking the and again, you just it's 49.5. So if you get that, the key is going to be that red zone efficiency, right? You're not going to get pace with either team, but if you can get that red zone efficiency, punch in touchdowns, not settle for field goals, it's going to help you with that total. We got an interesting game next up now here in Texas here, neutral field game here, Stanford and Kansas State, early start, Big 12 Pac-12 matchup. Kansas State 3-point home favorites, 54.5 the total here in this game. Fascinating matchup here. Kansas State's taken all the money for the most part. Open to pick them, and now we're seeing -3 here in this game. So very interesting to see how this one goes. Chris Kleiman, a little bit more pressure on his shoulders, considering how things kind of fell apart for his team down the stretch last year. Now you've got Skylar Thompson, who is about as experienced as you could ask for. 6th year in the program, believe it or not, for him. But again, had a shoulder injury last year. They had to go to Will Howard, the backup quarterback, who really wasn't all that great when he was in there. And look, can you get Skylar Thompson staying healthy? It's going to be the question going into this game here today. And you stay healthy for a full season, you know what you're going to get. The defense for Kansas State in the Bill Snyder days, for even the first bit of the Kleiman era, usually we're used to this defense just being solid, bend but don't break. Well, they did a whole lot of breaking last year, this Kansas State defense, especially late. They were just, I think the fact that they were riddled by injuries and COVID-19 a little bit really hurt in that regard. And you really saw this team struggle on the defensive side of the football. So, they lost their last 5 games after that rough start, after that good start. So it's definitely a team that's trying to rebound. Stanford, 15 starters back from last year. They had a good finish to the year. Overall, they played their best football late in the year. I've never been a huge fan of David Shaw, the head coach of Stanford, just too conservative for my liking. Davis Mills departs, and now they're going to have 2 guys that are going to get time as starting at quarterback today. Jack West and Tanner McKee here for Stanford. Both of these guys are going to get time in this football game here today. And it's very, very odd that, to me, the total's gone up, because first thought for me was, Sean of conservative, methodical Stanford team, and Kansas State's going to run the ball a lot and they don't play fast. And yet the total's gone up, and it's always a little bit of a head scratcher. So that's what kept me off the under, believe it or not, was where this move is going with the total 52.5 up to 54.5. With this number at 3, I'm seeing 3.5 at William Hill and a couple spots. These couple books that have 3.5, I've got to take a little bit of Stanford at that number. I think now it's getting a little carried away. Kansas State, the line moved toward them. I understand pick them, maybe like in K-State, but you can get now 3 in the hook with Stanford. A lot of starters back. The quarterback, both guys have been there a couple of years now, West and McKee. at the quarterback spots here for this Stanford team. So at 3.5, guys, it's more of a numbers thing for me. I think it's a close game either way, but I definitely at 3.5 think Stanford is probably the value now. What do you think, Conor Mac? Stanford, Kansas State.
Yeah, I think Stanford might be the value too at 3.5. This is a game I want no part of either. One thing, K-State had a problem with their defense last year. The last 4 or 5 games, they got gashed and kind of got their ass whooped after a good start last year to the season. They got a good running back, the little guy Vaughn. They're going to see lots of him. With Stanford, even though I lean to taking them with the 3.5 points, I don't like the 2 quarterback system. I guess he's going to see which one he likes. But I don't know with Stanford. They've kind of taken a dip over the last few years, and I don't know what to make out of them. Are they just a 500 team? And they got a horrendous schedule. So this would be really one that they'd like to win here. So I'd only lean taking the 3.5 with Stanford as well.
All right, Big Ragoo, you like anything here with Stanford, K-State?
I agree with you on the value side. I think some of the value has gone in that number. Jump towards lean towards Stanford's way. From a pick 'em all the way to 3.5. I mean, it might be like, don't get caught at the light. You're kind of over that key number, like you were saying prior with the Army game. But in this particular spot here, K-State, you're going to see a lot of these teams last year that had the COVID issues, try to get back on track where they newer programs, first year coaches getting their second year, trying to, build upon those key players or recruits and whatnot. So there's definitely talent on that squad. There's no question about it. But like Conor was saying, they just bled out towards the end of the season. And I think the Stanford offensive line is pretty solid. They're always a well coached. Like you say, kind of a vanilla type offense they're going to run there. But I think they can hang with this squad here. And they're probably going to be a 500 ball club. And they've got a horrendous schedule, like he says. And this is a spot where they can probably get one of those wins, I think. But I'm not going to get to the window with this game, but I would lean Stanford if anything.
Yeah, I think in theory, these are 2 teams I could see wanting to back here in the first game. Like Kansas State's healthy again. They've got Skylar Thompson back. I understand there's reasons to want to back them, but there's reasons to want to back Stanford too. I mean, you talk about the 15 starters back. Jack West has been the starter most of last year. He returns. The defense should be improved. The defense was a little hit or miss last year. When they played good offenses last year, Stanford kind of struggled. And we know that was the case with K-State. That defense was the worst defensive season they've had in Chris Kleiman's time as the head coach. What do you think, DJ, here, Stanford and K-State?
Man, I tell you, I hate keep being contrarian on the other side of everything, but this Stanford K-State one, not one that I would want to get interested in too much, but this angle that I've been having on a lot of games so far is running kind of hot. And you look at a team like Kansas State that's trying to, put their feet back in the ground. And why would they open up hosting a team like Stanford over there, unless they knew in some way, shape, or form it'll be beneficial to them. Now, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna go back and reference this to the games that was played. Why would UCF have Boise State come down? Only because it was beneficial to them. I mean, why would UCLA have Hawaii come over? Only because it was beneficial to them. So the hosting team of these non-conference games, they're not going to want to schedule games that they think they're going to get their head kicked in. They scheduling games that they know they can win or at least have a good shot at it. And the number tells you that. The number is spot right on for the public to go both ways, because nobody's looking at this from that perspective. If I would play anything right here, I would go ahead and take the home team, Kansas State. Stanford, I'm like Ian, I can't play David Shaw unseasoned chicken football. It's just not the fun thing to do. And I like what Kansas State tries to do over there. They've tried a lot of different angles and doing a lot of stuff. So I would go K-State minus the points.
All right, we've got you all.
Semi-home game to him too. Yeah. It's in Dallas, but it's close enough. Yeah.
Should be. We'll see how it goes. So weird that it's just, it's a neutral field game too, this one. I know usually they want to save the neutral field games in week 1 to these bigger matchups like Bama, Miami, like Georgia, Clemson, but they gave it to these guys as well, a neutral field game. All right, we've got UL Monroe and Kentucky. Kentucky 31-point favorites, 54 the total. One thing we've noticed here in this first week of the season, the worst teams, like the bottom feeders in college football, like the absolute worst teams in FBS, they've been just getting crushed. repeatedly. We saw what happened to UConn last week. We saw what happened to Old Dominion, who I think are one of the worst teams in college football this year, last night against Wake Forest. They're just getting destroyed in these games. They're just so far behind in terms of recruiting, in terms of quality of personnel on both sides of the football. And I think we get more of the same here for UL Monroe. Like, that was a program that just completely fell apart last year. It's a rebuild job. It's going to be they hire a recycled old retread head coach and Terry Bowden. That's not exactly a sign of a turnaround, in my opinion. You bring in Rich Rodriguez as the offensive coordinator. That's a dubious hire, if you ask me. And then, because he's Rich Rodriguez, we'll let him have his son be the starting quarterback of this team. Rhett Rodriguez here for the UL Monroe Warhawks. And the defense was just abysmal last year, and I'm not sure they've made great strides there. I think it's a smash spot for Kentucky. I'm in on them. This is the baseball style bet for me coming into the college football realm, where I go split it up first half, full game. And that's exactly what I'm doing here, Kentucky. -17, -17.5 here in the first half with this Kentucky team. I like that quite a bit. And I'm also liking the full game -31. I just think it is a big time blowout win for Kentucky. And I like the quarterback decision. They didn't hesitate right away. You got Mike Stoops saying that, hey, we're going to bring Will Levis in from Penn State, and they made him the quarterback right away. No debate whatsoever. They've got an offensive new offensive coordinator, but it works well with the type of offense that Will Levis ran at Penn State under James Franklin. So I think it is a seamless transition. I think he is a solid quarterback. When he came in for Clifford at times last year at Penn State, I thought he played better than Clifford at times last year for Penn State. So I like Will Levis. I think it was a great job getting him into the program, and I think making him the starter. I think he's going to have a good year and certainly get a great way to start the year. An opponent that is just in absolute shambles right now, program that's in absolute shambles, UL Monroe. So I like Kentucky early, and I like Kentucky full game, first half full game here. What do you like here, C-Mac?
Yeah, I still do too. Monroe's just, we got these bottom teams, like these bottom five. It even it happened last night. Just lay it. A first half, you could go full game. I think Kentucky beats up on them. And who knows if Monroe can even score. I mean, Terry Bowden is a coach. 0-10 team. They bring him in. You think he's going to resurrect this program? I don't think so. The only thing a little bit, I think they easily score, but they'll get going on the offensive coordinator, Cohn's scheme, like you talked about, and Kentucky's new quarterback. But they have no problem scoring here against Monroe. Lay the points with them. All
right, Ragoo, what do you like here?
Yeah, I'm on board with you guys. I won't get to the window with it, unfortunately. But my only concern was on the Kentucky defense a little bit. But this is a typical game, week one game, where you bring the powder puff football team to kind of get your confidence going. And this is that spot for Kentucky. So it's going to be Kentucky or pass for me. But I probably won't get to the window with it. But you guys are definitely on the right side.
Yeah, I think it's going to be I like the over too, but again, certainly Kentucky's going to score, I think, 38, 41, 42 minimum. It's a question of what can you get? Can you get at least, 14 out of Monroe? That could be asking a lot.
14. I was thinking maybe, like high 40s for Kentucky and maybe 10 to 14 points for Monroe if they get a backdoor in there somewhere. Yeah,
I definitely like I did bet the over, actually, 54 a little bit. But again, a little concerning about what Monroe will do. But Kentucky, I think, is good for high 40s at the very least. They could score on 9 out of 10 possessions in this game. What do you think here, DJ?
Hey, when I see a number like 31, that kind of tells me they couldn't set it no higher. They had to just keep, how high they going to set it, I would definitely lay those points and take, SEC versus a Sun Belt team. Even if Kentucky was playing a top-notch Sun Belt team, then they would have a good chance against App State, or they'd have a good chance against them with a size differential, all kinds of stuff. So these guys are going to kick these guys in the mouth.
Yeah, it just seems like that's a rough first game for a team that was just not only a Sun Belt team, a bad Sun Belt team, the worst Sun Belt team going into this year. That's going to make things even more difficult. What a matchup next. Penn State and Wisconsin. We talked about Will Levis in the last game. This is his former team now taking on Wisconsin. Big Ten showdown here. Wisconsin, 5.5-point home favorites, 49 the total. Wisconsin's been bad in the home favorites role lately. For as much as we rave about Camp Randall and this home stadium and how tough it can be, they've not been good laying points at home for a very long time. That being said, I do not trust James Franklin in a big game. How many times has he stepped up and actually won a game like this on the road against a team that's as good or better than his team? Not often. Sean Clifford, look, enough with the excuses. Last year was not good enough from him, not consistent enough, terrible decisions. You know how many red zone turnovers and interceptions he threw last year? It was really bad from Sean Clifford. He's a talented quarterback. He's a capable quarterback, but he's got to iron out the decision making. He's got to finish drives better than he did last year. He's a senior now. We'll see if he can make it happen this time around. As far as Wisconsin goes, yeah, last year they got off to the good start, and then things crumbled for them. They didn't finish strong, but they were ravaged by injuries and COVID, a hybrid of both. They're much healthier coming into the year. Paul Christ is calling plays again. He's assumed the play calling duties. I think that's good because I think the play calling at times has suffered since he relinquished those duties. So I think that's a good thing for Wisconsin. As always, their O-line looks very good. No question about that, which is a strength for them. I know the running back position, who's your next Jonathan Taylor, you ask, and who's going to be your next big running back, but still it's going to be running back by committee. They should be able to run the ball. Defense, Paul Chris says this could be one of my better defenses that I've had in years as well here at Wisconsin. I think they win that West Division, and I think it starts today with a win. I don't love the 5.5 number. I wish it was a little shorter, but I'm only looking Wisconsin here. I've got to see Penn State in a big game before I'm ready to back them here in a spot like this. Conor Mac, what do you think? Penn State, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think this is a solid one, at least for me to watch. I don't want to get involved with kind of a 5.5, this number. I'd lean under a tad bit. I know it's at 50, 49, even a little bit. I think the defense is early. Kind of feel each other out. And hey, I'm just not a Clifford guy. He's one of these guys like Martinez for Nebraska or etc. They've been there for 3-4 years and they don't get it done. At times they show they're okay, but they make turnovers. But they have a running back. They got the top receiver in Dotson for Penn State. Can they cover this number? I don't know. Camp Randall should be rocking. Fans are back. I thought Mertz was good, but I don't think he was that good. People were raving about him last year. And Wisconsin kind of tailed off towards the end of last year. So this is a game, no lean for me either way here. I have nothing on this one. I'm going to watch it.
All right, nothing on this one. Going to watch it. Nothing wrong with that. Like I say, I lean Wisconsin. I was just 5.5 because I could see this being a field goal game. And again, Wisconsin has had struggles as home favorites covering numbers. So keep that in mind. But I still trust Wisconsin more than I trust Penn State. Penn State was a bet against. You remember last year I was betting against Penn State a lot, early when they were struggling. They did get off to a better, they had a strong finish to the year. But boy, that start bothered me. And look, they got to have this is a tough game to start the season. They got to show me they have a good start here. 100%
yeah, they've had trouble in the big games. Yeah.
Yep, no doubt they have. Big Ragoo, big one in the Big Ten. What do you like?
It's a matter of game, taking care of the football, establishing the run. An old smash mouth type Big Ten game here. I take the home team to win the game, but maybe not cover. But I like the under better. I like the side, so I would definitely lean to the under in this spot.
All right, lean into the under. DJ, what do you like here?
I just want to say for the people out there watching, if this is one of your best games on your card today, you are a sick person because these two teams are way too unstable to have in. I don't even know how they got them ranked at, I think 12 and 19.
Yeah.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows what you're going to get out of either team, and both of them, the books, everybody been on the wrong side of them. Like last year, thought Wiki would be a little worse, and they got a little better. And Penn State comes out like they're this, and then they're that. Come on, this is a game we're going to watch. If one of these teams are in one of their prime seasons, we'll see. We'll see it right in this game right here, where they're going with the season. So, man, stay away from this game. The total's even shady sitting where it's at. Like, this thing could be, they could run the scoreboard up on this, or this could be a pound-for-pound thing. Like, all this, the line, everything that's said in here is just off of traditional thoughts of what people think when they think Penn State and Wisconsin. So, stay away from that game, y'all.
I think it's a good live betting game. Like, I don't have a strong opinion pregame, but watch it live, see how it unfolds, see how it starts out, and maybe you can find something, live in game in this one. But it should be a good one. Fox, I'll have this game on at noon to get their day started. Oklahoma and Tulane, next game on the slate here. This should be very fascinating because, again, this game got moved. It was initially going to be in Louisiana, but the Hurricane Ida being a big force in that state obviously forced the change in location to Norman, where this game is now going to be played. Oklahoma 32-point favorites here in this game. The total right around 67.5 in this. I would only look at the favorite here, but I do respect Willie Fritz and the job he's done at Tulane. Tulane's usually one of those teams I've been liking. I backed them quite a bit in recent years, no doubt. But they're obviously up against it here. This could be, it could be, I shouldn't say it could be Lincoln Riley's best offense because he's had a lot of good offenses with the Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts era here at Oklahoma. But he is going to have a great offense again with Spencer Rattler, no question. Good offensive line, terrific skill position talent. But what he definitely is going to have, guys, I think is the best defense he's ever had at Oklahoma. That's where the difference is. And we saw it last year. That Oklahoma defense, not your same old Sooners defense, soft as tissue paper Sooner defense like earlier in the Lincoln Riley era. They got better on that side of the ball. They got a pass rush. They started winning in the trenches. That defensive line started, putting their fingerprints all over the football game. That was not something you would have seen from Oklahoma and defenses from them in years past. So give Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator, credit. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. Well, he's got a mean defense right now for this Oklahoma team, and they're much better on that side of the football probably than they've ever been before. So that's good news coming into this upcoming year for us Sooners fans from a Tulane standpoint. When you look at it, Michael Pratt returns as the quarterback. I think he's solid, that kid. He's got wheels. He can run it a little bit. I thought he did a solid job in the passing game, but this is just asking a lot, playing Oklahoma in your first game. I think when they play in their conference, Tulane offensively with Michael Pratt, who showed me a lot last year that he's capable, will be able to have some success here. I'm not so sure. I would only look Oklahoma. It could be a tough. Don't forget the situation for Tulane too with the hurricane in that area as well. That's a distraction they don't need as they're trying to prepare for Oklahoma. But I'm not going to lay 32 either. It's a pass for me. What do you think, Conor Mac here, Tulane, Oklahoma?
Yeah, this game's a pass for me. Obviously, Oklahoma, Rattler. I think they're pretty good laying it here. Tulane, though, like you talked about in score. And how about that? Oklahoma gets a free home game. Even though designated Tulane's the home team. Come on. So Oklahoma gets an extra home game here. It's the points or nothing. The one thing, though, everyone's saying this Oklahoma defense is different. I want to see it. So because too many times in the past, over the last 2 or 3 years, I would love taking 31, 32 points against Oklahoma because these teams would cover against them because that defense would get shredded. Everyone says it's a great defense. And if this defense is great, this game stays under 67.5. If it's not, then it'd go under. But if they're so good, I guess I'd lean under a little bit. But it's one I'm going to watch too. I can't be on anything here.
Ragoo, what do you think? Tulane, Oklahoma.
Yeah, this is a team that always disappoints when it gets to the big game. Not necessarily these type of games here, but
yeah,
that's how they get to the big stage. They take care of these smaller schools. I say smaller schools, but lower tier schools, and they get to the big dance, and then they shit the bed and they walk out. But I think this year might be a little bit different. Like you said, Grinch's defense supposed to have one of the best front sevens in college football, supposedly.
Yeah.
And we'll see. And then Tulane, they're usually like a run heavy, but they can balance the offense. So I think Tulane's going to have to do some things to keep Oklahoma's defense honest. They're going to have to do some tricky stuff here. They're going to have to pass first and maybe run second, and then we'll see if they get like an early score. To maybe I was thinking maybe Oklahoma in the first half, but I'm kind of worried about that. I think it's probably going to be 17, 19 points. For some reason, my book doesn't have the number right now. If anybody got a first half number while I'm talking about the game, let me know. But I think that would be my only look here. Would take Oklahoma in the first half and see, because they want to get the respect that they think they deserve, so they're going to look to impress early. And
20.5.
What is it, 20.5?
20.5. I think that's the better bet than the full game, probably.
Yeah. I would lean towards the first half, even with the 20.5. If Tulane's not going to be able to run the ball and they're going to rely on the pass, it can get ugly for them pretty quick.
Yeah, the new offensive coordinator as well at Tulane, because Will Hall was the offensive
And a
coordinator. Now the head
distraction, like you
coach.
said, Ian. That's a big part of it.
Yeah, and Southern Miss now. He's the head coach there, Will Hall. So Chip Long, who's been the OC at Notre Dame and Memphis previously, is now the OC here at Tulane. Not a big system change because they played up-tempo under Will Hall, and they're going to play that way under Chip Long as well, this Tulane offense. So it's not a big learning curve. The problem is going to be on defense. Only 6 starters back. Lost a lot on that side of the ball, Tulane. So, yeah, I do think I was surprised a little bit that they didn't make that 21-21.5. They didn't pad the first half number as much as I thought. So, the fact you can get it below 3 touchdowns might be worth a look there, maybe to Oklahoma minus 20.5 in the first half. What do you think here, DJ?
I think this is a sweet spot for the under right here. Some of these blowout games right here just becomes a really sweet spot for the under. You could get, let's say, 56-10, and you still slide in under on this one. So we're looking at a good blowout game. You know, a lot of factors go into that. Teams getting ready for the next week, teams that are up, putting in their second and third strings. There's just so many factors that could lead the game under, even though it could be a nice blowout for Oklahoma. So I'm going to look a little further in that one. I might jump on that under. That might be a play.
All right, liking the under here a little bit, DJ. All right, next up, we've got a rescheduled game from Thursday night, Temple and Rutgers. Rutgers 15-point home favorites in this one, 52 the total. I'm going to be brief because Connor and I talked about this on Monday's show, hitting the books at the beginning of the week. I liked Rutgers at minus 13.5. Now it's up to 15, though, man. It just keeps on climbing, this game. Is anybody liking Temple in this game? I mean, I have a good number. I'm happy with it. I got closing line value. I'm happy. I think Rutgers is on the way up. I think Temple's on the way down. I don't think Rod Carey was a good hire. Their quarterback situation was a mess last year. I don't know if it's any better this year. Not much skill position weapons for Temple. Defense fell off completely last year. And then you look at this Rutgers team, what Schiano did in 1 year in Piscataway, unbelievable. The fact they were just embarrassing 2 years ago to competitive and even winning games last year, incredible stuff from Schiano, what he did in 1 year. So I think Rutgers can win by 2+ touchdowns. The number's getting a little high for my liking now, but I would still only look to the home favorite here, and I like the over a little bit as well. What do you think, Connor? Temple, Rutgers?
Yeah, it's Rutgers or pass for me. Temple is that bad. Can they do something with a new quarterback? They were god-awful last year. I don't like it either. Now, if you got 13.5, I think you got to feel good, or take them first half. I think, man, Schiano, what he did last year, I was shocked how well they played. They bring back a ton of those players. They should win this one. Could this game end up 31-17 or, something like that, where it could be right on the number? So that's why it's Rutgers or pass. But yeah, it's starting to reach a little bit, 15.5.
Big Ragoo, anything here? Temple, Rutgers.
Yeah, too many points, I think, for the value side of things. Need 3 scores to cover. That's a pass for me. I'm not going to put my money on Temple.
No. DJ, what do you think?
Hard lean to the under on this one right here. The number's already set pretty low. These two teams, they're going to take their time out there. So another situation where Rutgers could run away. And Conor Mac said it himself, 38-17. I like kind of risking a little bit on the under right there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. Rice and Arkansas now as we continue on down this card. By the way, we've gotten through all the noon Eastern kickoffs. So those are done now. The rest of the games are later in the afternoon. Rice and Arkansas. Razorbacks, 20-point home favorites, 50 the total in this one. There's money coming in on Rice. This is one line move I really don't agree with. I mean, I'm waiting for Rice to ever be competitive and be better. And, there were times I'd say, Rice is going to be better last year. And they had some head-scratching losses. Luke McCaffrey comes in, the transfer from Nebraska, to be the starting quarterback. I was never impressed with his throwing ability at Nebraska. On the defense, I think things actually look okay for Rice on the defensive side of the football. But, we're still asking, Rice to go on the road here against an SEC team, and an SEC team that, even though it was a good defense last year, they should be good again this year. You got to stop this Arkansas team that I thought last year for Sam Pittman in their first year was a pretty solid. They made a great account of themselves. solid for a first year with a brand new system. Apparently, they like KJ Jefferson, Malik Hornsby, the quarterback spot. It was still up in the air between those two. KJ Jefferson, of course, got a lot of the snaps last year. I'd expect Jefferson to be the starter. They were leaning that way with him, and I would expect him to be the starter here. The defense looks rock solid and continuing to improve as well for this Arkansas team. I know they play Texas next week, but I don't buy into look-ahead spots in the first game of the season. I don't. I just everybody's fired up. Everybody's been chomping at the bit.
If you're not ready right now,
August camp, you're ready for your first game. You're not looking ahead to the next game. Was Fresno State looking ahead to Oregon last week when they sent UConn into oblivion in that game? No, obviously not, because they just beat the shit out of UConn. Was there a look-ahead spot to Oregon for Fresno last week? No, absolutely not. Was there a look-ahead spot for San Jose State to USC? No. They did what they had to do. They put the boots to Southern Utah. So I don't buy into, look, if you like Rice, and I'm not saying Rice can't cover, but find another reason behind your bet than just, it's a look-ahead spot for Arkansas. It's got to be another reason. That's not enough in my mind. I still think personnel-wise, Arkansas is plenty good enough to potentially win this game by 3 touchdowns. So, I wasn't going to bet it initially when it was 21.5. It's 20 now. I'll put a little Arkansas minus the points in my pocket now in this one. This is a team that I think is well coached, so much better than some of their previous Arkansas coaches. Kendall Briles, the offensive coordinator. When you hear that name, you think this team should have some offensive explosiveness to them. That's also kind of why I like the over here, 49.5. With Briles, they're going to play up tempo. And if they get that offense cranked up, I think that makes that total look a little bit low. So I like the favorite. I like the over. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, Franks is gone. We talked about their record wasn't very good, Arkansas, but they were in a lot of football games last year and were good as a dog. Now a huge favorite here. Jefferson will do good, I think, as quarterback. He played a little bit when Franks was hurt and did an okay job. All 5 offensive linemen back for Arkansas, 9 on defense. I look at this more. I haven't bet it, but I kind of want to take Arkansas first half. It's 10.5. It's one I've been thinking about kind of since last night and this morning. I haven't bet it, but yeah, I'd be on Arkansas early in this one. Just don't know if I'm going to bet it or not.
All right, Big Ragoo, anything here? Rice, Arkansas.
Thanks for opening my eyes on that one, Connor. That's a solid look. I'm thinking 3 touchdowns better at least. Maybe the first half is something to definitely look at. Odom, that whole defensive crew is going to be back solid, I think, and upstart Rice. I mean, Rice is one of these teams that always kicks my ass for some reason. Every time I get involved, I go against them. They pull out a win, but they're not going to win this game. But they can pull out a cover. But I like what's going on in Arkansas. They got a lot of stuff going on, and there's a lot to like about the squad here. Like you said, they were competitive as a dog in a lot of spots. 20 points is an ask, but I think they'll come out. They want to be motivated. Like Ian says, these guys are wanting to get off the bench and wanting to play. There's no look-ahead spots in the first game. So it's Arkansas first half and Arkansas full game for me.
All right, like in Arkansas. Jake Kaiser in our chat saying, I'm a Nebraska fan, disgruntled one at that, and saying, Luke McCaffrey, I've seen him a lot, can't throw the football further than 25 yards and isn't very accurate either. He can run, though, and that's all he does. So there you go. And I agree with that assessment. That's the same thing I always thought when I saw Luke McCaffrey play quarterback for Nebraska. DJ, what do you like here? Rice, Arkansas.
I like Rice a lot in this one. This is kind of strategic. Last year they opened up against Georgia, then they played Mississippi State, then they play Auburn. So they don't they don't mind, playing the tough games. But this year they opened up against Rice. So that says that, hey, we're trying to start this season on the right track with a win. Like Georgia and then this year Rice, they come to play. Last year the fans, the school, everybody stood behind Sam Pittman and the new system, and it shows some signs of light down the road. Like he really likes to run the ball a little bit. He likes to play really good physical defense. So I think that there's no way you can go wrong taking Arkansas in this one.
All right, next up here in this, we've got Fresno State, Oregon. We've got Oregon 20-point home favorites, 63.5, 64 the total. Total's been bumped up a bit. I agree with that. There's 3 starters out for this game on defense for Oregon. That's definitely worrisome. And their secondary is completely rebuilt from last year, starting over in the pass defense. And that definitely concerns me, because what's Fresno's strength offensively? I think it's the passing game with Jake Hayner, the Washington transfer, who did a great job throwing the football, airing it out, picking apart UConn. Now, Oregon's got definitely a better defense than UConn, but they're still weak in the areas that Fresno State can exploit. Good passing game, a weak secondary, a little bit of new faces, very inexperienced secondary as well coming into this season for Oregon. That could be trouble for them here, and it could allow Fresno State to hang around for a bit in this one. I do like the points a little with Fresno in this spot, plus 21, plus 20. But even more than that, I like this game over the total. Don't be fooled by the Fresno defense doing what they did last week. Their defense is definitely on the rise and improving, but they're going to have a much tougher time on the road at Eugene with the speed and those running backs led by C.J. Verdell, stopping them, slowing them down, the speed at the wide receiver spot. Oregon has a very good offensive line. Anthony Brown's the question mark. Sometimes at Boston College he played great, and then there's other times not so great, but he's experienced. Cristobal's singing his praises, saying he's got command of the offense. He's grasped it quickly. So we'll see how Anthony Brown does as the quarterback here for Oregon in this game. Fresno's good up front. They're still a little shaky in their own secondary. I think you could see a bunch of big plays as well. So that's good for the over as well. Fresno's up tempo. They play with some pace. Oregon did not play in the Chip Kelly pace, but they still at least play a little bit above average in terms of their offensive pace. So I like the dog a little bit, and I think I like the total even more than that. 63.5, 64, which it's gone up from 61.5, and I agree, especially with those injuries on defense to Oregon and that remade secondary. It's got a chance for Fresno, I think, to get their offense going and put some points on the board, and I definitely think Oregon will score their share as well. Conor Mac, what do you think here, Fresno and Oregon?
Yeah, that Oregon defense last year, got gashed at times, especially through the air, and with all the problems and new guys they have. I think this sets up perfect for Fresno to kind of throw the ball around. And Oregon's going to get theirs, like you talked about. I know Brown's in a quarterback, but they got tons of running backs, skilled guys, a good offensive line. I think Oregon scores. I think Fresno scores. So, yeah, I lean over. That Oregon defense, I didn't like at all last year. And I don't think Fresno, they played UConn. They shut them out. They'll give up points here. And I think Fresno can hang. Oregon got backdoor covered. I was on a few of them, like Oregon State, some of these games. They ended up beating them last year. I think Fresno can hang a little bit. Man, I wanted 21, 21.5. I knew it wasn't going to get there, but I took 20.5 with Fresno here.
Yeah, with the injuries on defense, all 5 offensive line starters back. Joe Moorhead, the offensive coordinator now, RPO system. It's perfect for Anthony Brown. They're going to play, again, a little bit up-tempo. We know Fresno plays up-tempo, so I think we'll see points. What do you think, Big Ragoo, Fresno, Oregon?
Sounds like a dead over the way you guys are breaking it down in my book. But I was kind of looking at a different angle. I was kind of looking at, with Oregon's struggles on defense, maybe that gives Fresno an opportunity to kind of, I wouldn't say slow the game down, but kind of control a little bit more tempo on their side of the ball and kind of keep Oregon's offense off the field a little bit more, not a whole ton more, but maybe lean towards a team total under on Oregon under 42.5.
That's a high team total, that's for sure. First game of the year, will they be that much in sync? We don't know much about the Fresno defense yet. We think it's better. It should be better than it was last year. And we can't just give them
one game that they had under their belt already. Maybe that kind of gives them a little bit of an edge.
Yeah.
And Hayner throws it around. He throws around the yard. Last year they were top.
They stretch the field. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They go down the field vertically. There's no doubt. And that's good for overs, too, when you're getting those big plays. But you're right. We don't know just how good Fresno's defense is yet, because we can't give them a gold star for shutting down UConn. We just can't, because, UConn is that bad right now. What do you think, DJ? Fresno State, Oregon?
This one has to do with a little Mountain West where I do it the best. And shout out to Fresno State. They play good against Pac-12 schools. They beat UCLA. They got a couple other notches under their belt in these non-conference games. But with this Oregon team, this is supposed to be Cristobal's best team right here. I believe Cristobal's in his 4th or 5th year, I believe. So, he got all his ducks lined up. So they said the same thing about Chip Kelly with UCLA, and they came out and they were the truth as well. So with the line being up this high, this this is supposed to be Cristobal's team right here. But I say don't knock Fresno State out. Kalen DeBoer and Hanger, they're offensive guys. They're gonna put up I give them 3 touchdowns, but they definitely will at least put up 2. And if Oregon try to run it up on them, so be it. And we'll definitely go over. I like the over a lot in the spot right here. Gives me a chance to root for that Fresno State offense and to see if Oregon can continue to put points on the board as well. But Cristobal claims that he's a defensive guy and that's where he wanted to lay it down at. So I don't know. His defense, like Conor mentioned, you guys all mentioned, like he shows some spots here and there. And this Fresno State team, they're stud Justin Rice, who went back over there with Blake Anderson when he came over to the Mountain West. And that guy was a real stud at linebacker. So they lost a great tackler right there. So I expect them to miss some tackles and so forth and so on. So running it up, I think that's what's going to happen right here. I love the over in this one.
All right, loving the over, says DJ Big Boss. You're right, Mountain West is his niche. He knows all college football, but the Mountain West in particular, he really follows it closely.
Mountain West is the best.
Mountain West is the best. That's right. West Virginia and Maryland now. We've got an interesting one here, Big 12 versus Big 10. West Virginia, 3-point road favorites, 57 the total. I lean West Virginia here. You definitely still have the better defensive team. Albeit West Virginia has lost some players on defense from last year, and that was a great defense last year. I think they're going to take a step back this year. Maryland's offense, does have some issues on the O-line. That's a concern a little bit, but Talia Tagovailoa, I don't have as many concerns about him. He's been very good at the quarterback spot for Maryland. We'll see if he can keep it going into this game today. It's going to be interesting. Talia definitely, was good. Dan Enos, by the way, the new offensive coordinator. And looks like they're going to be picking up pace and tempo again this year. West Virginia, 9 starters back. Jarrett Dagey, the quarterback. Look, he's been disappointing so far, but I think this could be his best year yet. Letty Brown, a good running back, an O-line that has been significantly upgraded and improved in the offseason, I think is going to help. And after last year being an under team, like this was an under team, West Virginia. Their offense wasn't very good. Their defense was very good. I think it's going to flip a little bit this year. Their offense is improving. The O-line's better, and I think the defense takes a step back. And I think Maryland, I still like more about their offense than their defense coming into the year. So I understand the total move, 54 up to 57. I do think this game could get up and over the number. What do you think, Connor? West Virginia, Maryland.
Yeah, we'll see. I remember, I don't know what the exact number was, but West Virginia was way down on losing players, especially on the defense side of the ball. And they didn't win a game all year on the road. Morgantown, they won every game on the road. Can't win here opening day. I'm not high on Maryland. They did start to score towards the end of the year. The defense was awful early last year. I mean, they gave up a ton of points. But with Baby Tua back there, maybe they can hang in this game. I'd lean under a little bit. It's a game I got to watch. There's no money. I'm not putting any money on this game. I'm going to stay away, but I think it should be a good watch to see both these teams early.
All right, definitely. Neil Brown, by the way, head coach of West Virginia, offensive-minded guy. Just hasn't clicked yet for his offense since he's been there, but this is probably the best chance they have here. And you're right. I think West Virginia is still the team I trust a little bit more, but I'm leery of laying a field goal with them, especially with still money coming in on Maryland at the moment. What do you think here, Big Ragoo?
I'm going contrarian here. I'm going to put my money on West Virginia. I think they still have enough pieces, even though, like you said, they did maybe take a little step down. They did have the best defense in the Big 12 last year. And to me, even though they might regress a little bit, I still think it's good enough to go against this Maryland squad. I like Loxley. He's up and down with his defenses. If you can run the ball on Maryland, you're going to beat them. And I think West Virginia might be a field goal better in this spot. So even though it's on the road, like Connor says, they have had their struggles. I think veteran Doge in that spot. I think he's got enough underneath his system to kind of manage and go in there and walk away with the W. In Maryland, I think it's a good spot for West Virginia here to come away. I think maybe a touchdown better, not a field goal touchdown.
All right, lean in West Virginia. DJ, what do you like here?
I kind of feel the same way I feel about Wisconsin and Penn State game here. Like both these teams Both have a lot to prove and probably a game that you really want to watch opposed to bet. But I gotta follow the sauce, man. And Neil Brown over there, Big Ragoo knows I'm highly into third year and fourth year coaches, and in this one we get our third year coach on the road right here, and he's gonna bring the pain. Neil Brown, college football is a lot about coaching, so he's the better coach in this one. He's gonna have the more classier team. They stay poised on the road. They come home with the win. So I like I'm sorry, I'm like West Virginia in this one. I'm tripping.
All right, like in West Virginia. We move on now to the next game on the slate. By the way, 250 or 237 live viewers. Hit the like button. We appreciate that. Great turnout for our first college football Saturday morning show right here on Pub Sports Radio. Indiana, Iowa. A good Big Ten matchup next up. Iowa 3.5-point home favorites, 46 the total. This is where we find out if Indiana and Tom Allen have truly built a program that can sustain success multiple years in a row, or if that was just a one-off last year, what they did. This is where we're going to find that out. It is going to help that a healthy Michael Penix Jr. Is back at quarterback. I think their record's like 10-2 or 12-2 with him as a starting quarterback. I mean, they've been great with him under center. Let's see how he fares here in this one now that he's healthy again. Good offense, good skill position talent. This Indiana Hoosiers team. Ty Freifogel leading a terrific receiving core. 5 starters back, all 5 on the offensive line. It should be a very, very solid group in terms of offense. The defensive side of the football, should actually be very good, as 19 of their top 21 on defense in terms of tacklers are back. They do lose the defensive coordinator, though, Kane Womack, who took the South Alabama head coaching job, so keep an eye on that. Charlton Warren, though, the defensive coordinator, has been around the block. He's been in multiple conferences before as a defensive coach, so I don't think it'll be too much of a big deal. Iowa on the other side, look, Spencer Petras got better last year at quarterback. They're going to rely still on good old Kirk Ferentz, smash mouth run game, defense, same old. Tyler Goodson should be one of the best running backs in the Big Ten, if not the entire country. I got to see it, though, from Indiana. Like, last year was a nice year for them. Can they show that, hey, we're not just a one-year wonder. We're going to be a consistently good, up above average Big Ten program. A lot of times Indiana in the past, they have one decent year and they fall off again the next year. So that's the challenge ahead of Indiana this year. Don't love the game, but I lean Iowa just because I think they're a more known, stable commodity, especially at Kinnick Stadium. It's never easy to beat them there in Iowa City. I lean a little to Iowa -3.5, but it's just a very, very small lean for me. What do you think here, Connor? Indiana, Iowa.
Yeah, this should be a good watch with Iowa at home. They'll be solid on defense in the trenches. They got a good running back and Goodson. And Indiana, they bring back 8 starters on offense, 8 on defense. They got Penix Jr., like you talked about, coming off from injury. How's he going to be? I don't love a side here. I don't know if Iowa, they get in tight ball games. I wouldn't want to lay 3.5. Looking at this one, it's come down a little bit. A lot of money is on the over, but the line has moved down. So I'd only look under in this game.
All right, Big Ragoo, anything here?
The question is, with Penix, we know he's a solid player. I just don't think that he has to be asked to do too much. If he has to do too much on his own, then that's where they can get in trouble with that Iowa defense. But they have talent all around them. And for Ren's at home, like you say, Iowa City's a tough spot to go on the road and walk away with a victory. The points, the 3.5 is a tricky number. This is usually one of those type of games where it could come down to a field goal. But I think Iowa is going to be a little more on the improve with on the offensive side, and I think they keep it close, but maybe down the stretch they pull away by a touchdown. So I like Iowa here at home laying the 3.5. I don't like the 3.5, but I think they can get the job done, maybe 4 to 7 points. So I don't think it's going to be a field goal game. I think the numbers they're kind of pushing you to take the points here, but I think Iowa lay the 3.5 with Iowa and get the job done.
Yeah, I don't doubt the talent on Indiana. I just going on the road against Iowa is a tough ask in your first game. And Iowa, this could be actually one of, obviously Indiana is going to be very good on paper. We think Iowa, this could be one of their better teams. Petras played a lot better in the last 5-6 games last year. He played his best football down the stretch. And if that's the Spencer Petras we get today and this season with that run game and that defense, that's a dangerous Iowa team. So, again, Petras is a big part of it. He was bad early in the year last year, but he was much better in the last few games. Is that the Petras we get? What do you think here, DJ?
I'm allergic to Iowa. I don't bet their games unless they're underdog against like a top school that's ranked. That's they kind of go in there and
That is
spoil
the
a
sweet
lot of
spot.
people parties. But I'm allergic to Iowa in games like this. So and then Indiana is not nothing. Is a lot of hype. That's something we got to see on the field about that team. So it's a total pass for me.
Well, you can sneeze all over me.
All right. Next up, we've got Miami, Ohio, Cincinnati. Good old in-state battle here. Cincinnati minus 23, 22.5, 23 up. Home favorites here, 49.5 the total. Cincinnati might be the best group of 5 team in the country. They probably are. Group of 5, I mean. Non-power 5. I'm just not betting against that. They're good. They're loaded. The defense is outstanding. Once again this year should be for Luke Fickell. Desmond Ridder, terrific dual threat quarterback for them. I just don't want to get in their way, and I don't want to do it with what I think is going to be a middling to below average MAC team like Miami. Brett Gabbert, we'll see how he fares here at quarterback, the younger brother of Blaine Gabbert, by the way. Last year they had some COVID issues. They've got, Chuck Martin. He's been okay here the last 3 seasons here with Miami. They've been competitive, but boy, Cincinnati here, home openers, and Luke Fickell's been good in these kind of situations. It's just a team that's loaded, both sides of the ball. Do I trust Miami, Ohio to hang tough here for 4 quarters? Not necessarily. So, not a game I bet, but I'm reluctant to go against Cincinnati because I just think the world of that team, both sides of the ball. And after last year missing the playoff just barely, they're coming back for more, I think, this year. Going to be a good team. I just don't want to get in their way. What do you think here, Conor Mac? Miami, Cincinnati?
Yeah, I think Cincinnati wants to kind of just make a statement here early. Miami, Ohio's going to be good. They got starters coming back, and these are like 5th, 6th year guys. Obviously, guys coming back because of COVID. And I think they'll be okay in the MAC, but I got to take Cincinnati here. I think you go full game. I lean first half a little bit. It's 13.5. I think they can get up by a couple touchdowns early and cover this one quick, and then take the foot off the gas late.
All right, Big Ragoo, Miami, Cincy.
Yeah, Mike Tressel coming in for Cincinnati on D, right? Because they lost their defensive coordinator last year.
Yes, they did. Marcus Washington.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But they still got the talent on board. There's no question about it. How sharp are they going to be coming out on this game? I know they want to belong. They want to be like you said, the top power out of 5 conference team going in, and they have some aspirations of getting a bigger conference next year possibly. But for this season, I think the Red Hawks are like Connor says, they bring a lot of talent to the field, but are they going to stack up against Cincy? It's a big number, but I don't want no part of laying the 23. But I'm not going to put my money on Miami in this spot. A part of me scratching, itching to maybe get involved with it, but I just don't think I think there's too much talent on the other side too. But I don't think they're 23 points better. But I'm not going to put my money on them.
Yeah, but Marcus Freeman is the defensive. I said Wash. I don't know why I said Washington. Marcus Freeman is the guy that's gone from Cincinnati to Notre Dame. So that's the DC they lost. DJ, what do you think here of this game?
You heard it here first, guys. Go put your money on Cincinnati and go to the bank. Cincinnati's probably going to be – if you go look at their schedule, it's kind of set up for them to run away with this one and have some kind of impression – with the coaches polls and stuff, they come out ranked number 8. But if you look at their schedule, they don't really play nobody but Notre Dame and UCF for the whole season. This is just going to be a good run-up of a lot of run-ups to come. I expect them to do the same on defense, play really good defense. But this year, we may get some offense out of these guys. So it seems a little shy to trust them, laying over 3 touchdowns. But I think this the team right here is set up. The athletic directors have set the schedule up. They should go 4-0 for sure before they see what is it? 3-0 for sure before they see Notre Dame. They got a big possibility of beating Notre Dame this year. They beat Notre Dame. They pretty much have nobody to see but Gus Malzahn and that UCF team. And then, Tulane, Navy, Tulsa, USF, they don't really have much left to worry about. So this could be one of our undefeated teams right here. So jump on them now before those lines get inflated.
All right, we have Marshall Navy. Interesting one here. Marshall 2.5-point road favorites, 46.5, 47. Long term, I think Marshall's bet against this season for me. With no Doc Holliday, I'm all of a sudden gone. I don't know if I love the fact they parted ways with him. It's done a just model of consistency with this program over the years that he's been there. But I think for today in this matchup, it's a winnable game for Marshall. I mean, I'd be looking maybe to back them today just because I don't think Navy's in a good way right now. Coach Ken, as we've called him, Niumatalolo's done a good job there, but it was a bad year, down season for Navy. He's not sold on his quarterback to run this triple option. He couldn't decide between Xavier Arline and Ty Lavatai in the camp. He's going to give them both starting time at the quarterback spot today. And I know Marshall is, I think, long-term, they're going to have some bumps in the road, and they're not going to have maybe overall as good of a season, but this is a winnable game. And now that it's near Pick'em, I still think they're better personnel-wise than Navy, and they still have a very good defense. Grant Wells, great start to the year and could barely complete a forward pass and put any points on the board in the last few games of the year. It was a head-scratcher to see how that Marshall offense collapsed in the last few games of the year. But against this Navy defense that just couldn't get any stops last year, look, I think Navy long-term is bet against. I'll be looking for spots beyond this week to fade Marshall, but this ain't the spot. I still think they're better than Navy. I would only look to the herd in this game. What do you think here, C-Mac? Marshall, Navy?
Yeah, this is the game I'm not going to be involved with. I lean Marshall a little bit under the 3. Navy is bringing back a lot of guys on offense and defense, but that quarterback position, like you talked about, it's still up in the air if either of these guys are going to play. And yeah, Wells, man, it was rough for him. If I was get involved in this game, which I thought about it, I'd only look under. I think this is just clock eating, obviously, with Navy. And Marshall is no offensive juggernaut. So I'd look under 47, 46.5 here.
All right, leaning under. Big Ragoo, what do you think, Marshall, Navy?
Yeah, under for sure. I mean, 96 yards a game, number 1 scoring defense in the league last year. No Doc Holliday, that's the minus. But, yeah, Navy's going to have a tough task here. Even though it's triple option, I think Marshall's they've seen the program before. They know what to do. So I think Navy's going to have some tough. It's going to be a tough game to score points. I think for Navy here. So I would lean Marshall, even though, like you said, the money's coming. The line's going down a little bit. I still like Marshall in this spot.
Yeah, it's good.
Uh-oh.
It'd be same as the offensive coordinator. So it's going to be the same offense, run-heavy type of offense, methodical. So, yeah, the under definitely makes sense to me. I would lean that way totals-wise as well. What do you think here, DJ?
Marshall's been impressive to say the least, despite, every time Marshall come on at some point in the game, they've been very impressive either on offense and also on defense last year. But the Navy, no disrespect to the armed forces, but, I can't trust the Navy as far as I could throw them. Like, they come out each year and, you don't know what you're going to get out of this team. So they're one of my least favorite military teams of them all. So I would be totally off this game, but if I had to play it, I'm definitely playing Marshall.
All right, leaning toward Marshall. So we'll see. All right, next up, we've got in this one, Alabama. Oh, here we go. First one of the real big games today, Alabama, Miami. We've got the Crimson Tide, 18.5, 19.5 point road neutral site favorites, I should say. 61.5 the total in this game. Look, we know what the track record is. Here's you want to go against this? Go ahead. Nick Saban and season openers, 14-0 straight up, 12-2 against the spread. You want to go against that? I don't. Look, I get it. This is Bryce Young, new quarterback, a lot of new faces, especially on the offensive side of the football. But the defense, loaded for Alabama. Remember, last year the offense was ahead of the defense a little bit, especially early on. This year, the defense is ahead of the offense, I think, coming into the year. Now, Manny Diaz, look, De'Aaron King coming off a serious injury Is he going to be ready to rock, 100% healthy, have full mobility, full range, make all the throws? We'll see. And he's got to do it against a very elite defense to begin the year. And Miami's defense, they have to be better. I mean, to see Miami's defense be so bad at times last year. I still remember North Carolina, Sam Howell hanging whatever points they hung up on them last year. Just embarrassing for Miami's defense. And that's why Manny Diaz, the head coach, is assuming the play calling duties on defense. He says, this is my unit. This is my team. I'm taking ownership, and I'm going to see if I can change things. Well, I better hope that him calling the plays leads to better defense for Miami. They should be improved on that side of the ball. They do have a lot of experience back, and I think they'll be a lot better. So a lot of people I know, I don't have a strong opinion on this game. It would be Alabama or pass. I just don't bet against them in their first game of the year. They've been that good in their opener. But from a totals perspective, I'd lean under a little bit. And I know a lot of people like the under this week, but it kind of makes sense. Do we trust Miami to move the ball up and down the field against this defense? No. But do we trust Alabama offensively fully to, run away and hide and score 30-40 against what should be improving Miami defense? Maybe not. So this game probably could stay under that low 60s total. What do you think, Conor Mac? Alabama, Miami.
Yeah, this is a game I'm not going to bet, but it'll only be Alabama or pass for me as well. New quarterback. They just reload, though. They got weapons everywhere, and that defense is stacked. Miami just struggled on defense so bad last year. Can they be any better? That's their problem. I just think Alabama can go up and down, and their defense will be good. I'm not going to it, but I only look Alabama early. I'd lay the 11 first half with them. I think Miami's outmatched. And they have King back there. Can he get some points? Obviously, it's like his 7th year in college football, coming back again. I think he'll be good later on in the year, but just a tough opening game. It's all roll tide here or nothing.
Yeah, 14-0 straight up, 12-2 against the spread for Nick Saban in the season opener as head coach at Alabama. I just want to reiterate that because that track record is pretty amazing. What do you think, Big Ragoo, Alabama, Miami?
I think you hit the nail on the head. First half, full game, Alabama. But
sounds like last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're just gonna do a continuation rollover from last year until we start losing. So why broke it? Don't break it if it don't fix it if it isn't broke. But De'Aaron King, he's probably the best player on the field overall. But he's going up against 11 guys on the other side, and he's gonna have a little bit of help. But I just think I like the fact that. They are, Miami, they should improve on the defensive side with the HC making the play calls. And I think they will be better down the road. This is one of those games where if you lose early in the season, kind of like the Georgia-Clemson game we'll talk about later, they can recover and move forward. So Alabama with the victory here, first half and full game.
Yeah, I respect the hell out of De'Aaron King. That's the only thing that makes me a little bit leery, but still, other than that, Alabama in these openers, they've been ready. It hasn't even mattered. Losing players on offense from last year, losing players from defense last year, it has not mattered for Alabama in these first games. They've still managed to overcome it. Be ready. No one prepares a team better, I think, for an opener than this guy, Saban. So, no doubt. And they've been like all kinds of different scenarios and permutations and situations, and they've still managed to notch that 14 win straight up, 12-2 ATS number in the opener, which is pretty impressive. What do you think here, DJ?
Man, I know y'all taking the whole thrill out of everything. I'm going last. I can't make none of these great announcements, man. I had a good one coming up. All my DJs out there, all the low baggers, everybody who bets college sports or college football, shall I say, we know we jumping right back on the Alabama first half train. We've been doing this for years now. It's a no-brainer to take Alabama first half in this one right here, man. So somebody get out the notepad and keep a jot so we can keep a nice record. We going in Alabama first half again this year. There's no other way to do it right here. And, I don't know about Derek King, Ian, this guy might be a bust. Everywhere he went, he did come over to Miami and played exceptional. But at the same time, he's injury prone. It's always an issue with this guy. And I'm a firm believer, especially in college sports, is you're only as good as getting over your first injury. And you find a lot of players that have a lot of talent. Once they hit that injury mark, they never really come back the same. And I think that's what we're going to get out of Derek King in this one. And he's going to have everything set out for him. I mean, these guys are hard, often, and fast. So if he's going to be out there running around, he's going to be running around like a chicken with his head off today. But Alabama first half, let's go, guys.
All right, we have UMass and Pitt next up. Pittsburgh minus 37.5, minus 38 home favorites, 56 the total. This is what I talked about all over again with UL Monroe and Kentucky earlier in the show. It's just you lay the points with the favorite. UMass is one of the worst FBS teams in college football, right there with UConn, right there with Old Dominion, right there with New Mexico State, and we'll get to them later in the show. They're right there. They're at the bottom. And Pitt, you know, you always worry, is this the kind of team we can trust in this price range? But their defense is terrific. I don't know if UMass averaged 3 points per game last year, all right? 3 points per game. That's how bad it was for them. Now, they bring in Tyler Lytle, Colorado transfer. He's going to be their new starting quarterback. But, yeah, it's still a team that is just going to be outmanned in the trenches. Pitt's defense is no joke. And look, Kenny Pickett, say what you will about, you know, he's been around. He's been more of a, you know, dink and dunk quarterback. He's not usually someone that's going to throw deep down the field, but he's experienced. This should be his best year yet. He's got a good offensive line, solid running backs, good receivers as well. The receiving core actually looks pretty good for Pitt this year. I like them minus 24 first half. A little bit in the full game too as well, minus 38. I think I like the first half even more, though, to really bury UMass. Or early. I think they can win by 40 plus. I know it's minus 38, but I think 45-3, something like that. I really could see that kind of score here. What do you think, Conor Mac, UMass Pitt?
Yeah, I like first half just a little bit better. I mean, yeah, this UMass team can't score. I mean, can they get – and they do a little bit better this year? I mean, they had games 0, 0, 3, 2. Pittsburgh or nothing here. I'll be quick.
Yeah.
Not much to say. Hey, one offensive touchdown all last season, 4 games. I mean,
wow.
That's Connecticut's cousin right next door, you know. So, anyways, the total's 56. I mean, Pitt. So no total play here. It's first half or pass. Pitt.
Yeah, 56. Birdie's asking about the total. I'd lean under 56 because I think Pitt can get 50. I think 52-3, and you're still going to stay under the total.
They might get tired of running up and down the field. You know, they might not score so many points that way. You know,
and one thing I can guarantee is if they get up by 40 or 50, Pat Narduzzi is definitely one coach that'll take the air out of the football and run it and look to run out the clock. There's no question about that. What do you think here, DJ?
Hey, Pitt is one of those teams that I was high on last year. They let me down in a few spots, but you know they're coming back with Pittman and I like
Pickett.
him, man. I Pickett. There you go. I like him. I like that guy over there. You know, he plays to the end. You know, he puts forth the good effort and all that good stuff. So, hey, they've set the number at 38 because they couldn't set it no higher. You got to take Pitt in that.
Yeah, I mean, they got their top 3 rushers and a great bevy of receivers back, Pitt. So I think they're going to have some explosiveness, believe it or not, offensively. I actually think they're going to be a good over-the-total team in their games, just not today because I don't trust UMass to do anything offensively. Next up, we've got Central Michigan and Missouri. Missouri, 14-point home favorites, 59 the total. I like Connor Bazelak quite a bit, the Missouri quarterback. Got better last year as the season progressed. There are some injuries, though, at receiver for Missouri coming into this game. So it's important to keep your eye on that. You know, Jay Macklin is the big one, arm injury, out long-term for Missouri. That's definitely going to hurt a little bit, but I still like the look of this offense and the capability that they have coming into this year. Eli Drinkwitz, you know, really likes this team. He brings in Steve Wilkes to be his new defensive coordinator. Of course, he was an NFL head coach at Arizona, and that's where the improvement's got to be, right? Missouri was not good defensively last year, had some real ugly defensive games. We'll see if they can improve, but with Bazelak back, good solid receiving core. You know, Tyler Beatty should be very good at the running back spot. But he's been banged up a little bit. We'll see. Jay Macklin is a big loss. I mean, he was expected to be one of their best receivers, but they still have a couple good ones there. Jim McElwain, head coach of Central Michigan's done a pretty good job with this program, and they've been a good point spread team under Jim McElwain, this Central Michigan team. You know, a lot of starters on bringing back. Daniel Richardson and Jacob Sermon were in a dead heat for the quarterback job coming into this year. Let me see if we can find out who they settled on. It looks like it is going to be in this game. Daniel Richardson, it looks like, has the upper hand, expected probably to get the first crack at being the starter. Kind of like the over here because I think both teams have good offensive capabilities. It does bother me. Macklin, one of the best receivers from Missouri's out, but I'd lean over the total. Not a huge, strong opinion on the side. Missouri's better than Central Michigan, but Central Michigan's been good covering numbers under McElwain. They're getting a healthy number here, so I could see why maybe you like Central a bit, but I'm going to lean over 59. What do you think here, C-Mac?
Yeah, this is a game I don't want anything involved with here. Missouri might be pretty good. You talked about Macklin and Cooper's questionable, but Bazelak has been pretty good. I just don't like the number, 2 touchdowns, 14. I think they could cover, and I'm not that high on Central Michigan. So this game was just a quick cross-off for me.
All right, Big Ragoo, anything here for you?
Yeah, I think offensively that's a decent number, 60 points. So they're expecting points coming both sides, and 14 is a big number in my book. So if anything, I would lean Central Michigan plus.
All right, DJ, anything Central Michigan, Missouri?
I'm right there with Big Ragoo on Central Michigan. I'll take the points with that one. We got a third-year coach right there. His ducks lined up. He got a shot, but I'm not gonna make it to the window with it though.
All right, just to lean Central Michigan. All right, Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State. We got Mississippi State 22-point home favorites, 53 the total. There's been a deluge of money, not just a little, a deluge of money on Louisiana Tech here. And look, Skip Holtz is a road underdog. If you've been following that little trend over the years, you've done very well. It's been very good as an underdog, especially on the road. There's still question marks about Mississippi State. They're definitely better. And Mike Leach teams often jump and improve significantly from first year to second year. And I think we're going to see that. But are we going to see it enough today that they can cover and win by more than 3 touchdowns? I'm not so sure against a Louisiana Tech team that I think is going to be improved. Remember, bad down year for Louisiana Tech last year, but a lot of COVID issues. They're going to have Austin Kendall, West Virginia transfer, who's an experienced quarterback, starting for them today. Luke Anthony was also a guy that was expected to maybe be their starter, but he's injured, not good to go today. So it'll be Austin Kendall instead. The defense should be much, much better for Louisiana Tech, but Mississippi State, second year in the air raid system under Mike Leach. Will Rogers expected to be the starting quarterback, although Mike Leach did not. I think it'll be Rogers, but he was kind of saying it could be the other guy as well, Chance Lovertich for Mississippi State as well. But I'd expect it to be Rogers, especially because Rogers did play better late in the year last year for Mississippi State after struggling early. I like the total a little bit over. I think it'll get there. I think the Louisiana Tech offense will score. The Louisiana Tech defense will be better, but let's not forget it was a horrible defense last year. So better might just be horrible to, slightly below average, and slightly below average means they might struggle here still against Mike Leach and the air raid for Mississippi State. So I like Louisiana Tech plus the points. I got 24. It's 22 now. So the line value is disappearing here, but I still lean to the Bulldogs here. Well, they're both Bulldogs. The Louisiana Tech Bulldogs here, plus 22, and I like over 52.5, 53 as well. Conor Mac, what do you think here? La Tech, Mississippi State.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go with Rogers here. This game's interesting to me. I think, this total might be a little bit low in this one. I don't want to lay points with Mississippi State week 1 like this. This is a game where I'd be on La Tech catching the 22, or I'd be off. So give me the dog, and I'd lean over a little bit, over 53 in this one.
Yeah, definitely. I like over the total as well. I think we'll see points, and I like the dog. What do you think here, Big Ragoo?
Yeah, you guys did a great job on the breakdown with the total here, because that was my only look on the game. In actuality, I have this game charted out. I think La Tech will probably cover, but I got Mississippi State scoring 40-something points, and I got La Tech scoring mid-20s. So it's going to get into the 60s, I think, without question. So the only look for me here is over.
All right, DJ, anything here? La Tech, Miss State.
I don't really like this one, but SEC opener, I would lean SEC right here, but I'm off.
All right, we got UL Lafayette, Texas. Really good non-conference matchup here. Texas 9-point home favorites, 58. It's going to be really good because I don't think UL Lafayette fears this Texas team, because I sure as hell didn't see them fear Iowa State going to Ames, Iowa last year and beating Iowa State outright as underdogs in that first game of the year. Levi Lewis is back, the quarterback who's been here forever at Louisiana Lafayette. Billy Napier's done such a great job as the head coach of this program. You know, they could have beat Coastal Carolina last year. I know they replaced Trey Regis and Elijah Mitchell, two NFL-bound running backs, but they've got other running backs that'll step in and play well. They're very high on who they've got replacing Regis and Mitchell at the running back spot. They've said nothing but good things about Chris Smith, Imani Bailey, the offensive line. How about the offensive line guys returning 107 starts along the offensive line for Lafayette? Outstanding, experienced offensive line. I think that gives them a puncher's chance against Texas's front, which isn't bad. Hudson Card, what are we going to get? Steve Sarkisian, new head coach here at Texas, taking over from Tom Herman, going with Hudson Card as the quarterback here. Beat out Casey Thompson, which surprised me because we saw Casey Thompson shred Colorado, in the bowl game last year, and yet he didn't get the starting job. Hudson Card did. We'll see how things go for him. There's still some question marks there at times with Texas in terms of offensive line. At times had trouble. There was too much pass rush and too much protection breakdowns, even with Sam Ehlinger. Now he's gone. What are you going to see from that O-line now with a brand new quarterback here? It's going to be the big question in this one. It feels like it's a public underdog, and that always scares me a little bit, but I still can't shy away from taking the points here with Lafayette. I think they're right in this game. I think it's a big ask in the first game of the year for Texas to win by double digits against an excellent, fearless Lafayette team that's going to be, I think, every bit as good as they were last year. Terrific on defense as well, Lafayette. For Sunbelt standards, this should be an excellent defensive football team. No question about that. 22 players on defense that had at least 100 snaps on the field last year. Experienced, loaded in all three levels. I think Texas has a game on their hands here. I would only look to the underdog Ragin' Cajuns. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, it might be the public underdog, but I'm not going to lay 9 with Texas. Expect them to win, by 10 points or more. They finished the year off strong. It always seems like Texas, like these bowl games, they blow out a team and, who cares? Coach is gone. Sarkisian's a new quarterback in Card. Don't know what we're going to get out of him. We know we're getting out of Lafayette. Just a good, solid football team on offense and defense. I think that we'll bring it. I think this game's close. So, give me the 9 points with the Ragin' Cajuns.
All right, Big Ragoo, what do you like here? Lafayette, Texas.
The battle of the unknowns. I mean, the battle of the one unknown versus the known. We know we're going to get a quality football program with Louisiana. In the dog row, always a good spot for them. They like taking on these type of games early, and they usually do well. Like Dom put a nice stat in the chat. But I'm a little leery in this particular spot because we know Sark, he can get these kids coached up. I like the running back Robinson that Texas has. I don't want to lay the double digits. I think it's going to be close either way. I think it's going to be a 3-point differential whether they win by 7 or 10. That's like the teeter-tot number 8, 9. I'm not happy there, it could happen either way. So it's a pass for me. I know it's a long explanation, but it's a pass.
I would have loved over 10.
Yeah, exactly. It was 12.5 it opened, and now it's down to
I know
9.
it did.
So people that really got in early got a great number with UL Lafayette.
You said the public dog scares me on that spot, so I'm off.
Yeah, it just feels like there's a lot of people singing praises of upset special here with Lafayette. But look, people said that about Illinois, too, against Nebraska last week, and it worked out well. What do you think here, DJ?
This is another team for Louisiana. They kind of like Cincinnati right here. Like, they're coming out the first game, and it's going to be the biggest game on their schedule. I was trying to bring their schedule up real quick. Like, they play Texas, and after Texas, it just kind of goes downhill. They play Nichols. They play Ohio. Then they see Georgia Southern Alabama. They do have to play App State, but they miss Coastal Carolina in the conference play. So
this is their Super Bowl.
This is their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, what better way for a coach like Bill Napier to come
and
in
all
there
off season to prep for it?
all season for that one game, man. So I expect them to hit the field with their feet under them, and I'm gonna take them first half because this team right here, they got a lot of starters backs on both sides. But like I said last week, that's nothing to say or kind of mention in every team because of the COVID. A lot of teams got a lot of guys back. So that, and then sometimes you get a lot of guys back that wasn't nothing in the first place. But they played really well last year, barely slipped away from them. The defense is really good. The offense is solid. And Texas, we don't know. I'm not a big fan of Sarkisian, and we don't know what we're gonna get first year jumping out here. But we do know one thing that the Texas as a school, they demand some wins. So I'm pretty sure that they're gonna be riled up over there too. Lucky Herm not there, he'll cut the air off on them in the what you call them. But one of the unique things about this game too is the hurricane, and over in that area. So I'm sure it has some dynamics with the hurricane. Those kids, family back in Louisiana. So that would be the reason I would stay off. But I really, really like the Raging Cajuns first half, man. I would even go as far as say take a money line first half.
All right, liking them in the first half. Good stuff there. 247 live viewers here for our Saturday morning college football kickoff show here on Pub Sports Radio. Hit the like button. We appreciate it. Let's move on. San Jose State, USC. We've got USC 14-point home favorite, 60 the total in this one. San Jose State, this is one of those classic situations here, where you get this with now week 0 games where you got the team that played last week and a team playing their first game. Where's the edge going to be? Is it going to be the team that played last week or the team that's rested, didn't play last week, and now has some film on their opponents? So great little back and forth. Who's got the edge in games like this? What I will say about San Jose State it was Southern Utah, not a good team, but the one issue they had was receiver coming into the year. A lot of losses at that position, and last week, 10 different San Jose State receivers caught a pass from Nick Starkel. So I think they're ironing out their issues with the receiving core. The defense is outstanding. They've got a great running game. The offensive line's experienced as all get out. And Brent Brennan, I mean, this is basically, first respond. I said on Twitter, I think it was a week ago, first responders, they help the public, they save lives, they, rescue people from dangerous, life-threatening situations. Brent Brennan was the San Jose State football first responder. He breathed life. He saved the life of San Jose State football is what this guy's done with the head coaching job he's done. It's been marvelous, unbelievable. This program was just embarrassing before he got there, to be honest with you. And look what he's done with them. Are you kidding me? Mountain West champions last year, San Jose State. Unbelievable job by Brent Brennan. I don't think they're going to be in fear of USC. And you talk about coaching edges. You can't tell me Brent Brennan's not a better coach than Clay Helton. I mean, there's a huge edge here. I think the double digits are worth taking here on the Spartans in this game against USC. Now, Keaton Slovis is a great quarterback for USC. Keaton Slovis is really good. That offense is going to put up points. Graham Harrell's done a good job offensive coordinating that Trojans offense, but I still think there's some issues on the defensive side of the football. It's also why I think you'll see some points in this game. San Jose State's defense is really good, but they are going to be challenged by USC. USC is loaded on offense coming into this year. They should be really good on that side of the ball. I think we'll see points, but I also think the underdog here getting 14 or more can hang in this game. I like San Jose State a little bit. I'm always leery of USC in this price range laying big points. Turnovers, mistakes, bad coaching, turnover, penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, we see a lot of penalties year in and year out from USC teams coached by Helton. And if that happens again today, that allows the underdog to hang around. So I like the dog. I like the over here. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, it's a lot of points for SC early. I can't lay it with them either. We all liked San Jose State last year, and they just bring back a ton. I mean, it's a similar team. They got the offense. They got 2 great DNs. They had 16 sacks. I think they put pressure on Slovis, and I think they're in this game. So, yeah, give me the 14 for San Jose State. I don't know if they beat SC. SC better be it's not easy to go in there and win, but I definitely don't think they cover. I think it's a tight one today.
8-0 against the spread as an underdog, by the way, for San Jose State in their last 8 as an underdog coming into today. So keep that in mind. What do you think here, Big Ragoo?
I'm going to keep the panel unanimous on that look with the total and covering the number here. I think USC is going to have to get well into the high 30s to push. I mean, to push the total up, the total will get there. I think we'll see 60 points here, but I could see like USC winning by like 10 to, maybe 10, 13 points. I think that 14 looks really good here. So I like San Jose plus and the over.
All right, DJ, what do you like here?
Man, this game, this game is all in my area, man. So it's a lot of dynamic looks at this one. First, Cal Sports type game. A lot of California players on both teams. Probably played with each other or against each other before. So a little team like San Jose State could stand a lot stronger than you think versus the talent that they have over at USC. But you knocked it on the head, and it's all about coaching right here. 10 times out of 10, I'm going to take Brent Brenner over as the best coach in this one every time.
Yeah,
but the thing I talked about him last week is, and he doesn't mind playing a slow game at all. Like he likes to play chess. He relies on his defense. He'll punt the ball on fourth and short. He's a real stand-up guy. This guy, he beats SC today. They're gonna start knocking on his doors for opportunities, because he's been proven. Like he laid, like Ian said, like he laid San Jose State brick by brick. I mean, first year, low expectations. Second year, a little higher expectation. Third year, a little, and he did it brick by brick all the way and got the Mountain West championship. So that's not by coincidence, you know what I mean? So that guy really knows what he's doing. Even if SC gets the upper hand of him, I think he gains his team and gathers control. He doesn't make silly mistakes and stuff like that as a coach. So I'm leaning. I would love to take that 14 points and take San Jose, but this USC team's supposed to be the real deal, just like they said about UCLA.
I hear that every year.
Yeah, we hear that every year. And the only thing that we could say, I mean, Slovis does chunk the ball around a little bit,
good.
but
Yeah.
Slovis, he's a Kurt Warner product, from high school. That's the big deal about that guy. But that doesn't mean nothing to, football is a game. It's 11 players on the field. That doesn't mean much. You know what I'm saying? But San Jose plays some really good pass defense, and they can defend the run well. Go look at the numbers, So USC's not just going to be able to just go up in the air on these guys. So, if I'm going to play San Jose State, I'm going to play for the big money. I'm going to put a little money on it, play for the big money, and take them on the money line to win the game. But I like the under way more. I think they control the game. USC, their bread and butter is on the run this year, not so much in the past as in the future. Even though they do have those flashy athletes and all that, they trying to build their bread and butter with the run. So I expect this game to move kind of slow, and I like the under a lot right here.
All right, liking the under here. It's a battle of pace wars. San Jose State will slow it down. USC is going to go fast with that air raid up tempo under Graham Harrell and the quarterback Slovis. So which one is going to win out is the big question. All right, Oregon State, Purdue 7-point home favorite, 68.5 the total in this game. Should be a lot of points. I definitely agree with the total moving up the way it has, 63.5 to 68. Oregon State defense is still a long way away from being great. Sam Neuer is going to be the quarterback, who, of course, is the transfer from Colorado. Played well last year at Colorado, and I think he can be good here. Tristan Gebbia, by the way, for Oregon State, who was battling with Neuer for the starting job, is injured. So it's definitely going to be Sam Neuer. Jack Plummer is the quarterback for Purdue. He played a split time last year with Aiden O'Connell as the starting quarterback. Jeff Brom says he likes this team a lot. The offense should be terrific. I mean, Purdue's going to put up points, and Oregon State's defense is weak, so I'd expect that. I like Purdue in terms of a bet-on team this year. If it had stayed below 7, I would have leaned to laying the points here, but now that it's 7, I just don't want to lay that many with this Purdue team. I think I'd prefer to take the points with them in the underdog spots they'll be in later this year than lay points with them in this game, because I do respect Oregon State on offense, not so much on defense. They're not very good at all on defense, Oregon State, but still, I like the way Jonathan Smith is coached. They've been good as underdogs, so for that reason, I have Purdue as a bet on team. I just don't like this number or this spot to take Purdue. I do like the over, though, and I agree with the total being bet. It lost a lot of value, though. It was 63.5. It's 68.5. 69 is even showing up now, but there should be some points here. What do you think, Conor Mac? Oregon State, Purdue.
Yeah, the total's just gotten way up there, but did lean over in this one. Oregon State gave a ton. They'll give. We're able to score. Oregon State game seemed like in the high, but this is way high. At first, earlier in the week, I thought about taking this, maybe a first half over, and I'd lean Oregon State a little bit with the points. But too many other games here. I had to pass it.
All right, Big Ragoo, what do you like here? Beavers, Boilers.
I think points will come, but I'm going to go contrarian. I'm going to lean to the under on this spot because I think maybe there's too many people jumped on the total, and I think maybe that number might come up a little short. So I'm gonna side with the under on this spot.
Yeah, Jeff Brom plays, up tempo, good quarter, great offensive mind, Jeff Brom. He always has been, no doubt. But yeah, we're talking almost 70 now, first game of the year. Yeah. So it's getting up there. What do you think here, DJ?
Hey, this was not my cup of tea, man. Hey, you ever opened up a bag of chips and they got that one fried up, crinkly little rotten one in there? Yeah. You can have that one.
Point. I've seen that before.
Y'all can take that game. Y'all can have that. Yeah. Y'all can have that. I'm good.
You're good. Nothing for DJ in this one. Oregon State, Purdue. All right, Texas Tech, Houston. This has been an onslaught of Houston money. Texas Tech actually in the spring was like a touchdown favorite in this game, believe it or not. And now Houston is a 2.5 point favorite in this game. 64 the total. Even if you liked Houston initially, can you really justify betting them now if you haven't already? You could have got +7 with them in the spring. It's -2.5 now. On Houston. I agree. Houston's a bet on team. They'll be better this year under Dana Holgorsen because a lot went wrong. They bring back Clayton Tune. Look, we don't know how good Clayton Tune is going to be at the quarterback spot for Houston, but I think with now all the experience he's had, you're going to see them better. The defense should be pretty solid for Houston coming into the year. There's a lot of things to like about the Cougars, but here's the problem. The number's just been beaten up here in terms of all the values gone out of Houston. Hell, they're now favored here. And I know there's people that like Texas Tech to be improved under Matt Wells this year. They have 8 starters back on defense. That should help them. Defense has never been their strong suit, but this should be one of the better defenses that Matt Wells and the Red Raiders have had in recent years. How good is Tyler Shuck going to be, the Oregon transfer who takes over at the quarterback spot for the Red Raiders? He was good at times, and then he was struggled and turned the ball over too much at times, Tyler Shuck at Oregon. But here he is now at Texas Tech. We'll see. I agree with the people that like the under initially. 69.5 is where it opened at 64. A lot of under movement. I think both defenses are much better this year, so I agree with the under a little bit. But now it's 64, and you still get two teams that play with tempo. So be careful now if you haven't bet the under yet. But I see why people bet it under the total initially in this game. Conor Mac, what do you think here? Texas Tech, Houston.
Yeah, I have nothing on this game. Everyone seems to like Houston here. And they might win this game. It's all about that, the defense. Can Texas Tech be a little bit better? And the transfer from Oregon. You talked about Tyler Shuck. I think he's going to be good. This would be a huge win for them to start the year for Texas Tech. It'll definitely get over the win total that I have for them. But, a good toss-up game here. One I want to watch a little bit, but nothing I'm going to bet on.
All right, Big Ragoo, Texas Tech, Houston.
Yeah, the pick'em game that shouldn't have been a pick'em more or less, but like you said, the value's gone on the Houston side of things. And on Texas Tech, excuse me. I'm just thinking there's a lot of question marks here for me to kind of get involved. So let's just sit back and watch for me.
All right, DJ, what do you like here?
Third-year coach right here. Everything moving in the right way for Dana. I would have to back him in this one right here. Texas Tech, they kind of disappointed me in a lot of spots. They kind of played their way out of some games last year, and this year they kind of got a new face. So we don't know what to expect out of them with this Houston team. They're at home. We know exactly what to expect out of these guys. I expect them to come home with the W.
All right, we have next game here. It is Baylor, Texas State. Baylor, 14-point road favorites, 53.5 the total. There's definitely potential for this to be a mismatch and a class difference between these two teams. Texas State, below average Sun Belt team. Baylor out of the Big 12, but I'm not still totally comfortable laying 14 on the road yet with Baylor. Tough year for Dave Aranda. Let's see what Jerry Bohannon does at the quarterback spot. He's a guy that appeared in just a couple of games last year, hasn't thrown a lot of passes at the collegiate level. Let's see how he fares here. And the one thing about Texas State, they bring back Brady McBride as their quarterback, play up tempo, and they're always good for maybe a backdoor touchdown late, and catching this many points, that could be an issue here for Baylor. But Baylor's defense should be improved. And Dave Aranda, the head coach, came from LSU, where he was the defensive coordinator. He's a defensive-minded coach, so you'd expect that defense to be better. If even with the up-tempo offense, do we trust Texas State to score against Baylor's defense? That's the big question. Betting markets don't think so, because this total opened 57.5 down to 53.5. I would think so too. It's going to be, I think, a challenge for Texas State to score. I just don't know if Baylor trustworthy enough for me to lay 14. So I lean under more than anything, but I'm going to stay off this game. Conor Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a stay off for me. After the debacle Baylor was last year, I don't want to bet Baylor at all. I think I just stay away for a while until I see it, new quarterback, whole new thing. Can the defense be better? I'm gonna watch a few of these games. They should win today, but I'm not rushing to lay 2 touchdowns either on the road here.
Anything big, Ragoo, here?
We know the Texas State team's giving up almost like 500 yards a game last year, and second year for Rhonda. So I think Baylor definitely a step up spot for them here. And I almost want to go to the window with them, but I'm not. But I'll probably kick myself in the ass for not doing it. But I would lean Baylor in this spot. I think they'll win by double digits, but will they win by strong double digits? That's the question.
All right, DJ, anything Baylor, Texas State?
I kind of like Texas State a little bit. The defense was just horrible last year,
right.
And it was horrible to the point where once you do so bad, you can't do no better. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but a better day going into it. But Spotify's seat is heating up over here, and he got to get from under that cloud. And I think Baylor is a lot of public perception. Since the coach moved on to the NFL, this is a whole different squad. You probably dealing with the last little trinkles of his recruiting and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think we know exactly what we're going to get out of Baylor. It had to be proved on the field. I'm going to pass on the game, but Texas State could cover on this one. If I was going to make a play, I get a little cute, and as Big Ragoo would say, and I take Texas State plus the points.
All right, Syracuse, Ohio. Ohio 2-point home favorites here, 55.5 the total in this one. Frank Solich era over at Ohio as he retires, and the offensive coordinator takes over. Tim Albin takes over as the head coach of this Ohio team. We look in the quarterback spot here. Dino Babers, he's going to alternate quarterbacks between Tommy DeVito and the Mississippi State transfer Garrett Schrader. So we're going to see a little bit of both from Syracuse at the quarterback spot. The offensive line was a shambles last year. That's the big question, right? Have they fixed that offensive line? Have they at least shored it up a little bit? That's the gigantic question mark hanging over Syracuse in this game. Ohio's going to have the younger brother of Nathan Rourke, who was a quarterback here at Ohio, Curtis Rourke. His younger brother is now going to be the quarterback for this Ohio team. Very similar to Nathan in terms of dual threat quarterback, very good runner. How good of a passer is he? That's going to be the big question. Ohio's been good in terms of at home. You look at this point spread and you say Ohio out of the MAC favored against Syracuse out of the ACC, but Syracuse will be battling Duke for bottom feeder status in the ACC this year. I don't trust Syracuse and their offensive line on the road here. I'm not backing Ohio either, but I'd lean that way. Could the game get over just because it's going to be extreme tempo as always with Syracuse under Dino Babers? And I had some success betting Syracuse even with a bad offensive line last year with their totals in the 50s. Because when Syracuse offense is right, their games are usually in the 60s, mid 60s, high 60s with their totals, but mid 50s with a team that's going to play extreme tempo. It's tempting for me. Bet over the total here with Syracuse and Ohio. In fact, I probably will have a small bet on that. What do you think here, Big Ragoo? Syracuse, Ohio.
I like your total look here, Ian. I think the line is set right where it needs to be, more or less. I think you could see, I'm not going to predict an overtime game, but this is one of them type of games that can go like 30-30, 27-27, that can wind up, close games like that with the up-tempo. And then Babers, it's time for him to get off the pot with this Syracuse team, so he's got to – I think this should be a W spot for him, but I think with Zolich gone, I think there's going to be a little motivation on that squad because Alvin's been there for a long time. He's been there like 15 years. He knows his offense very well inside out. It's his offense basically. So I don't think they're going to miss a beat offensively, Ohio. So I think there's going to be points. And like you said, with the up-tempo play of Syracuse, I would lean towards the over.
Yeah. These are two bet against teams for me. I would rather bet against them than bet on them, Syracuse and Ohio. I think Ohio is going to be down a little bit in the MAC this year, and Syracuse goes without saying. They've got their issues, but so that's why I'm not betting the side, but do lean over the total. We got Conor Mac with us again. Conor, anything here, Syracuse, Ohio?
No, I think Ohio, is kind of going to go down a little bit. Maybe not right away with Solich retiring. I want nothing here. Syracuse, I don't want this team all year. We'll see. I think both teams are not going to be very good. I think Ohio will be okay in the MAC, but this game was a pass. Quick.
All right, DJ, Syracuse, Ohio.
Pass for me. Total pass for me. I don't have interest on either side on that one.
Akron, Auburn. Auburn, 37.
DJ bum fight.
Yeah.
Bum fight.
DJ bum fight. That's right. Auburn, 37-point home favorites, 56 in total. Look, they could name their score against Akron, but still a little bit of a trepidation for me to lay 37 with this offense and with Bo Nix, after what I've seen the last couple years out of Auburn. But, I keep thinking Auburn should cover. I think if there's one game their offense should absolutely explode, it's this first game with the new head coach, Brian Harsin, against a bad, bottom-tier MAC team. So I lean Auburn. I lean over the 56. But do I love them? No. But I would lean in those two directions. By the way, Tion Dollard, very good running back for Akron, is injured out for this game. So it's going to put a lot more onus on. Look who the quarterback is at Akron. How long has he been here for? 10 years, 20 years, his whole life? Cato Nelson, still the quarterback here at Akron after all these years. He's set to start for them in this game. Connor, what do you think here with Akron, Auburn?
This one's a pass for me. I just can't get there. I want to take Akron in these 37 points. I just can't do it, and I don't like Auburn enough to lay it even first half. So it's a pass for me.
All right, Big Ragoo, anything here?
Yeah, the Akron name is the Zips. That's what they might score today is Zip. But I'm not going to lay 37 points with Auburn with a new head coach. I don't care where he came from. If he came from another planet, I'm off this game.
All right, nothing wrong with that. DJ, how about you? Is this another bum fight? DJ bum fight again?
No, this Akron and Auburn. This ain't no bum fight, but that's another one of those where the line is set so high they can't set it no higher. So I don't know. I guess it'd be Auburn or pass on this one, but I would like to it'd be nice to have the MAC come in here and at least cover the spread right here. But that's not my job to pick cover the spread with plus 30 something. That's not my job.
I actually thought Boise State got a little worse under Harsin, but I like the hires he made for OC with Mike Bobo and DC Derek Mason. Say what you will about coaches. Yeah, good coaches. Say what you will about Derek Mason. Rough time at Vanderbilt as head coach, but he's a good defensive coordinator. Always has been. So that's a good add to the coaching staff for Brian Harsin here with Auburn. UTSA, Illinois. Illinois 4.5-point home favorites, 51.5 the total. Yeah, it's got that public dog feel to it, but I mentioned it earlier. I like UTSA plus the points. I think they can win the game outright. I think this team's loaded. I know Pub Sports Radio is located. Our home base there is San Antonio. It's not a homer pick. I'm not trying to make them feel good. I'm picking this game because I legitimately like the Roadrunners this year. Meep. I think they're a great team on paper. Frank Harris, senior dual threat quarterback, Sincere McCormick, great running back, all offensive line starters back, a loaded defense. Jeff Traylor has done a great coaching job here at UTSA. And I know Illinois looked impressive against Nebraska last week, but let's stop the Brett Bielema parade just for a second. Nebraska beat them. Nebraska bad even more than Illinois good, I thought, last week. In that game. And keep in mind, Brandon Peters got injured. He may not be back. It could be Art Sitkowski again at the quarterback spot for Illinois. I think they got their hands full with this Texas San Antonio bunch. I think we've got a very live dog here. I like the points with the Roadrunners. What do you think, C-Mac?
Yeah, it seems like everyone's on this. This seems like the most public play dog to me all week. Everyone's been talking about it. I like UTSA. If I were to take this, I take them money line. I think if you're going to take them, I think they just win outright. I like Illinois. I think this game, is good and close. I don't know if I'm involved. like I said, I just take the Roadrunners to win. But yeah, I haven't got involved with it yet. I've stayed off.
All right, Big Ragoo, UTSA, Illinois.
Yeah, definitely a live dog. You know, Sikowski did a nice job stepping in when Peters went down to keep Illinois on track last week. But that's more like I had Illinois last week too, so that was a good win. But this week's a different story. I mean, I think UTSA has probably got some better pieces in place to take on Illinois than Nebraska did. So definitely a live dog, but I'm not going to get to the window with it.
All right, DJ Big Boss, what do you think? UTSA, Illinois.
I like what they did with Illinois. You know, sometimes those first year coaches, you know, they make an impression like that and they can just keep rolling with it. I think it's a spot that they probably they got a good opportunity to win right there, but not nothing I'm gonna get to the window with.
All right, Florida Atlantic, Florida here. By the way, the noon Eastern kickoff games are just about to start. So just a warning, 2-minute warning. Get your bets in for those games if you haven't bet them already, because some of them are about to kick. There's not as many noon games today, only about 5 or 6. Most of them are later. Florida Atlantic, Florida. Florida minus 23.5 point home favorites, 52 the total. Obviously, no more Kyle Trask, a great quarterback there at Florida. Emory Jones steps in. He'll be fine. Dan Mullen, the one thing he does is he coaches up quarterbacks and does a great job of it. I have no doubt Emory Jones will be very good at the quarterback spot in time under this Dan Mullen-led offense, and a perfect style of quarterback for him, too. Dual threat. That's what Dan Mullen does best, as those dual threat quarterbacks. Of course, Willie Taggart, the head coach here at Florida Atlantic, second year. The Penn State transfer, Michael Johnson Jr., expected to be the quarterback coming into the year here for Florida Atlantic. The defense last year, definitely had their share of issues. You got to admit, you got to give them credit here that they still got to a bowl game despite the offensive struggles. You would think the offense takes a step forward this year, but on the road against a Florida defense that you can't help but think Florida's defense is going to be a whole hell of a lot better than it was last year. It was embarrassing last year at times. They're much better, much more experienced this year across the board on defense, and maybe this is their chance to flex their muscles a little bit. I'm not laying it with Florida, but favorable matchup and spot potentially. Maybe you can lean under if Florida Atlantic struggles to score, and they certainly struggled to score last year, no doubt. Conor Mac, what do you think? FAU, Florida.
Yeah, I kind of lean under in this game. I don't know how much better Florida's defense will be. We'll see, but I don't know if FAU scores a ton of points here. I'd only be with Florida. I don't love it though. 23.5. I'd rather wait. I want to watch this one. I'm not going crazy about it to jump in the window here.
Yeah, thank you for the kind words, Dom Ricci. Yeah, we've been together a lot. You, me, Connor, Big Ragoo, DJ. We've known each other a while now, from several years. It's good to have you with us. Big Ragoo, what do you think here? Florida Atlantic, Florida.
I think Florida's going to score about 42 to 49 points here. I like the over. I think Atlantic will get 10, maybe 13 points. So I'll push the over in this one. I know it's contrarian, but I think Florida's going to come out, like you said, Emory Jones, and he's magic with quarterbacks. Mullins is, and he'll get that offense running. I think the defense will definitely improve here, but I think Atlantic will score like 10 to 13 points in Florida, hit the high 40s.
Yeah, damp and dreary at Camp Randall in Wisconsin, Madison. Looks like it's going to be a wet one for Penn State and Wisconsin. What do you think here, DJ, with Florida Atlantic and Florida?
Hey, you got the best Florida guy you could ask for on the show right there in Big Ragoo. I mean, that's Florida business. I'm backing whatever he said.
You go with that. 30 minutes up the road for me.
Exactly. I'm backing whatever he said. Hey, for everybody in the chat, in case you don't know, this is the Florida guy. He even got his FSU hat on today. And he's contrarian. No way to go but back Big Ragoo in this one.
All right, Northern Illinois, Georgia Tech, MAC versus ACC here. Georgia Tech, 19-point favorites at home, 57 the total. I still lean Georgia Tech at minus 19, but you're talking about a 3.5-point line move. I still lean that. I don't want any part of Northern Illinois. I mean, I don't trust them on the road. And look, Jeff Collins' team, they've had a tough, 6-16 the last 3 years. This is his best team yet, though. He's got Jeff Sims, who's now been around enough that he should be better at the quarterback, so hopefully for Georgia Tech. I think he will be, though. The defense has to improve. Too many yards and points allowed last year. Awful. But I think they should be better on that side of the football. Thomas Hammock returns as the NIU head coach. A lot of starters back, and The defense should be better for them. No question. 18 of the top 20 on defense back. But and I know they're hopeful about the offense being good. I can't back Northern Illinois on the road against this an improving Georgia Tech team with Rocky Lombardi at quarterback. I'm sorry, I can't do it. Rocky Lombardi was terrible. I can't even express how bad he was at Michigan State last year. I need to see him be good at quarterback for Northern Illinois before I trust him. I still lean home favorite. It's moved up 15.5 to 19, but I don't want the dog here. It's Georgia Tech or nothing for me. Connor, what do you think?
Shout out to our guy Sharpie with the $2 dono. He said, glad to see the crew again in 2021. Appreciate it. BBW Slayer. Georgia Tech. I'd only be on them in this game. Northern Illinois had a young team last year, and it's rough. And I think it'll be hard again this year. Ball security with Sims, though, is a problem. I don't know if he'll show up in this game, but he turned the ball over a lot. But in flashes, he showed how great he was. I'd be on Georgia Tech first half. It's only 10. I think they could cover this number. It's kind of sneaky. I wouldn't go full game, but I think Georgia Tech could get out to a lead here and cover this first half.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that. Like I just said, to me, the Huskies, I got to see Lombardi play well. I got to see the defense play better. Georgia Tech's defense was terrible last year, but I'm hearing good things about it. Jeff Sims was frustrating at times, but now he's an upperclassman. It's time to take a step forward. And like I say, on paper, this is Jeff Collins' best team yet at Georgia Tech, and we'll see if they play like it on the field. What do you think here, Big Ragoo?
Yeah, I like Georgia Tech first half in this spot. I think if you look at Georgia Tech's schedule the rest of the way, I mean, they got like one of the top 3 tough schedules in the nation. They're going to be up against it really, really quick. It's going to come. The L's are going to pile up quick for them if they don't start off in a positive. This is one of their positive spots. Obviously, they schedule it for a reason. So I definitely like Georgia Tech in the first half here. And they surprised early on in the early coaching tenure there, coming off that triple option for years and years. They made some good adjustments, and I think going forward they'll be better for it. So I like Georgia Tech first half. All
right, Georgia Tech first half. DJ, anything here?
Yeah, I like Georgia Tech as well. Like Big Ragoo just mentioned, coming out of that option, it's been enough time now. It should be working. It's the fact that they're still in the system should be working. But things that you guys mentioned that kind of turned my antennas up was that all the question marks are on defense in this one, and you kind of getting a short number at 57. So I think I like the over in that one.
All right, we got the big one. The one everybody is excited about next up, Georgia and Clemson. Prime time on ABC. We've got Clemson 2.5-point home favorites. The total 51.5, 52 in this game. A lot of money coming in on Georgia, but they've got some question marks, to be honest with you, coming into this game in terms of health. When you look at it, they've got a big key cornerback, Tyke Smith, that they brought in from West Virginia, out. They've got a couple receivers banged up. Of course, George Pickens, expected to be their best receiver this year, tore his ACL in the offseason. He's out for the year. A couple other receivers banged up. So there's question marks here with Georgia's health coming into this game, especially in a couple of key areas. Again, we're going to have to see what that secondary does for them. I think they should be solid up front, but pass defense, look, they got shredded by good quarterbacks and good passing games last year. Remember some of those games in Florida stands out. Alabama, got really good offenses and teams really had issues. Yeah, the starting center and the offensive line as well for Georgia. So there's definitely concerns right now with the way that things are going here for Georgia in terms of having a full complement. And what have we seen from Kirby Smart over the years? An inability to beat really great teams, elite teams, not win big games. So I'm a little perplexed that now you can get 2.5 across the board on Clemson. And what people concerned that Trevor Lawrence got drafted to the NFL, DJ Uiagalelei is going to be fine. Okay, this guy at the quarterback spot for Clemson came in, led them to 2 wins, and the loss was Notre Dame with him as the starting quarterback, and they scored 40 points. You can't blame it on him or the offense that day when they lost to Notre Dame, DJ as the quarterback. So he's a good quarterback. He's got Justin Ross, a great receiver, back on this team. Yeah, they lose a couple key pieces there. The defense, I think, is outstanding for Clemson, kind of like Alabama. They lost a lot on defense going into last year, but this year their defense is back and loaded on all 3 levels. Now that it's 2.5, it's Clemson or pass for me. Dabo Swinney and Clemson have won these kind of games multiple times in the past. Have we seen Georgia win these games even once in the past? No, we haven't. So I got to see it before I believe it with Georgia. And now these mounting injuries makes me even more worried and concerned about Georgia. So for me, it would be Clemson here, less than a field goal. What do you think here, Conor Mac?
Yeah, it'd be Clemson for me too. Georgia just in the big games, just can't get it done. And now that, I like it that it's dropped to 2.5. Clemson's played better in the big games. And you're right. It seems like when these teams meet, though, especially Georgia, like you talked about last year, they got shredded on defense. I'm not playing the total, but it made me think of the over. I know it's week 1. Maybe there could be struggles. I don't love betting this one, but yeah, my lean is Clemson here.
All right, leaning Clemson here. Big Ragoo. It's the game of the day here, Georgia Clemson.
It's the game of the day. A lot of hype, right? A lot of hype machine on this one. But, man, This is one of those games where, this is a game we'd be playing at the end of the year to see who goes to the national championship. We're playing in game 1. So, I think both teams are going to be well coached, obviously. There's no question about that. Both teams are going to be stout on defense, with Georgia having some, pieces missing. But I think Clemson's going to probably have the little bit of advantage in the passing game with the quarterback, although Daniels is going to get his share of passes too. So I think you're going to see some offense. I think you're going to see some offense both ways here, even though both teams are defensive minded. So I would lean towards the over and just hope for fireworks.
Yeah, definitely. And JT Daniels, great quarterback for Georgia. Remember, that offense just took off when he took over at the quarterback spot, played a lot better down the stretch here. We'll see it, but we'll see if he can do it here against, an outstanding Clemson defense. Can he play well? One of the best defenses he'll see all year. DJ, any thoughts on the big game here?
2 questions come up with this game is, one, how long is Dabo Swinney going to stay on top? Is he going to continue to compete at a high level? Consistency. And the other question will be is, how long is Georgia gonna come up a day late and $1 short? Something's gotta budge somewhere in there. I think Georgia has an opportunity to catch Clemson early. We seen Clemson last year, kind of struggle a little bit sometimes, but new quarterback, all that situation over there, there's a possibility that Georgia can finally get one in and bring it back to the SEC. That'll be a big one for SEC out of conference game for them to knock off Clemson. So, if it was worth it, if they were Georgia was more of a dog and I could jump on the money line, I'd probably find value in that. But other than that, it's a great game to watch.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Great game to watch. And I didn't think I'd be betting this game because for the longest time, Clemson was laying more than a field goal. Now they're laying less than a field goal. And now I'm definitely going to be involved with Clemson now at that number. I think the price is good enough to get involved there. All right, Southern Miss, South Alabama. You may think, geez, what a crap game. It's actually intriguing, at least to me. South Alabama, 1-point home favorites, 56.5 the total. Kane Womack is the new head coach here for South Alabama. Comes over after being the DC at Indiana and did a good job there. And the head coach for Southern Miss as well changed there. I think it was a great hire for Southern Miss in terms of bringing it. Jay Hobson got fired last year. Let's not forget that. And Will Hall did a great job as Tulane's OC as the new head coach of Southern Miss. And Southern Miss, everything that could go wrong did go wrong last year, right? I mean, COVID-19 issues. They got embarrassed, to South Alabama early last year. So, it's a little bit of a revenge spot as well for Southern Miss going into this game. I think Will Hall was a great hire. I think Kane Womack's a good hire too. But look, South Alabama could be having Jake Bentley at quarterback. This guy got bounced from South Kakalaki. He got bounced from Utah, and now he's here at South Alabama. Third time's the charm for Jake Bentley. I'm not so sure about that. You talk about an inconsistent quarterback. And on the Southern Miss side, it looks like this guy that's Ty Keys is expected to be the quarterback, a very highly recruited quarterback, formerly at other spots, and now he's been brought in here to Southern Miss. If he can finally find his way, find his footing, get comfortable with a good offensive mind, I think Ty Keys could be a nice quarterback here for Southern Miss this year going into this game. And I think you're going to see definitely this team play pretty solidly. I agree with the total going up too, because it is a step down in class for Bentley and South Bama. playing Pac-12, SEC teams. Now you're in the Sun Belt and playing Conference USA teams here in this case. So I think we'll see points. I lean over the total of 56.5, but I'm a little surprised all the money's come in on South Alabama. I know everything went wrong last year, but so much of it was COVID related for Southern Miss. I think I like the hire they made. Ty Keys is a very, very talented quarterback. I'm interested to take the Southern Miss side now that they're a dog in this game. Anything here for you, Conor Mac?
No, nothing for me. This was a game I kind of wanted to watch. All those struggles with Southern Miss and you talked about all the COVID, the coaches, everything. I thought at the end of the year they'd turn it around, but we'll see what they can do with the quarterback position. South Alabama was kind of a play on for me at times last year, and some unders. It's a game I'm just going to watch. I don't know. I don't have either side, especially with the number where it is, just at 1.
All right, Big Ragoo, what do you think here? Southern Miss, South Alabama.
It's a revenge spot for, I believe, for one of these teams, isn't it? Last year they got beat.
Southern Miss. And Jay Hobson got
Miss.
fired first game of the year, and they fired the coach after it.
Right away.
So, anyways, I like the total. I lean towards the over here. I think even though Bentley, like you said, he's been around, we got Major Applewhite, they got decent receivers. So I think maybe they step it up on the offense. Both teams can put points on the board and get to the over. I don't like the line move. That I don't like, but I like the total over.
All right, good stuff there. All right, DJ, what do you like here? Southern Miss, South Alabama.
Well, I lean hard on Southern Miss, and I also like the under as well. When I did my preview of South Alabama, they got all the wrong intentions in college football. I mean, they brought in this new coach to add youth. Like they trying to spice up some that already is bad. So, you can't put cologne over funk, and they still stink. So Southern Miss, I believe, should come out and win this one. But the coach that they did bring in, he's a defensive guy. So they're going to start on the defensive end of things. And that's why I say if anything worked well for him coming into this season, then they lock it down a little more on defense and stay under the total. I mean, the number that we're getting kind of reflects they know this. So how well they play defense on the field, we'll see. But the offense is in shambles. The defense can be spotty. So, not much to say for South Alabama, but this is not going to be the year for them. So maybe next year when the young guy gets the spirit of the team and all those freaky things that they put together happens, they'll be a little better. But for now, Southern Miss in the under.
All right, good stuff. Southern Miss under the total as well. Kent State, Texas A&M. Texas A&M 29-point home favorite, 66.5, 67 the total. Can Kent State score against A&M's defense is the question. They got a really strong defense coming into the year, at least on paper. A&M. Can Kent State dent it is going to be the question mark going into this game. But when you look at Jimbo Fisher's A&M team, I don't think it's a big deal they lost Kellen Mond. Kellen Mond was an okay, solid, decent quarterback. He was never a great quarterback. Haynes King is going to be the starting quarterback. They really like him. There are a couple holes to fill on the offensive line, but they like that it should be a unit that can still, even with some question marks, overwhelm Kent State. Kent State could be outmanned up front on the defensive line. Dustin Crum, great quarterback for Kent State. And look, Sean Lewis, the head coach, they play extreme tempo on offense, and they're going to stick to that here against this Texas A&M defense today. Their defense, like I said, A&M on paper, it's very, very good. But, with Kent State playing as fast as they do, I could see them eventually getting to a drive where the pace picks up and they at least punch in a score or two. A&M is going to score a lot on Kent State because Kent State defensively was awful last year. And I think they'll be better defensively this year. But you're not going to see them better defensively, guys, until MAC play starts. In these games opening on the road against A&M, they're going to have a tough time stopping A&M, even with the guy starting for the first time, Haynes King. Because, like I say, I think the loss of Kellen Mond isn't like some other teams losing their starting quarterback from the last year, because Kellen Mond was never great. He was all right. He was okay, but he was never truly great in my mind. So they'll put up points. I think Kent will do enough to push it over the total here, 67. I'd lean A&M too, but a lot of points for a team that's got offensive explosiveness like Kent State. So over is probably the bet I like the most here. What do you think, Conor Mac? Kent State, Texas A&M.
Shout out to Matt Flesh Allen. We'll see today's game. Yeah, that was a good one, man. These teams are dead on. They play seems like one-run games every time.
Dodgers and Giants, yes, they do. Yeah.
I'll be quick. We need to quicken it up here. We're running way too over. A&M or pass for me. Kent State can't stop anybody. In MAC play, they're going to score a ton, but they gave up what? It seemed like 40 every game. Their defense was horrible. They'll be able to put points up. I don't know about today, like you talked about against A&M. So this is A&M or pass, and I think it's just a little too high.
All right,
I'm not going to give up.
All right, Ragoo, Kent State, A&M.
Two different styles of football. Slow down, hurry up. It doesn't matter how fast Kent State hurries up. We hurry up, we catch a plane home because they're going to get beat bad. Lay the wood with A&M.
He's laying the wood with A&M. DJ, what do you think?
Kent State rings up in my fourth-year coaches with Sean Lewis, but right now ain't the time or place. Maybe in the conference.
Yeah.
Maybe shines a little brighter.
Different spot.
Yeah.
Not the time or place. Sit down and be quiet. Tell the kids sit down in the back.
Yeah, absolutely. Tough spot here for Kent State, but look out at MAC. I think they can, in MAC play, I think they can win the East Division as a dark horse. I bet them to win the MAC East or the MAC because the East Division's the weaker division. They can get through that in my mind. And as long as they get to the championship game, that's a live ticket. And I think they can do that. But obviously they're a tough first game here for them today. LSU, UCLA. This should be an interesting one. LSU 2.5-point road favorite, 63. A lot of people were really impressed with UCLA last week, clearly against Hawaii, because they've taken all the money. LSU, look, I know the hurricane has displaced them a little bit. They've had to practice away from their home state to get ready for this game here tonight. But still, I like Max Johnson. I mean, no, the injury to Miles Brennan, but Miles Brennan and Max Johnson were in a dead heat for the quarterback spot. He played well when he started last year for LSU. I think they'll be fine with him. The defense this year should be much improved. And look, it's going to be better because Bo Pelini's no longer the defensive coordinator. What a horrible hire that proved to be. Get him out of there. There'll be a better defense. Max Johnson will be fine at the quarterback spot. I think UCLA is definitely improved. But now with everybody just thinks so much of UCLA. I get it. They played a game LSU hasn't. They're displaced by the hurricane from their home base. I get all of that. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson did not throw the ball well last week. They just ran the ball. They had a big lead. They got special team scores. They got the punter dropping the snap for Hawaii early in that game. Their offense, Thompson-Robinson didn't have to do a lot. And when he did, he was still inaccurate at times throwing the football. That may cut it against Hawaii. That's not going to cut it against LSU here. So I know everybody loves UCLA. I'm not betting the game, but if I were to get involved now, I'd look a little to LSU now, laying less than a field goal. What do you think here, Conor Mac? LSU, UCLA. It's a good game.
Me too. UCLA week 1, they think they beat up on Hawaii, and they made strides last year. And Thompson is good at times. I think there's points in this game. I don't know if it gets up and over 64.5 here, but that's where I look. LSU struggled. All those young kids all needed to start last year, but I think they've come into their own. Not a lot of SEC teams head out west. I was talking about the other day, especially these early games. So it's interesting, but down to 2.5 now. I think LSU could go in there and get a win. I think it'll be close. UCLA played a ton of close games, but I'd only look LSU and over.
All right, LSU
high-scoring games
over.
too. UCLA was in a lot of high-scoring games last year.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how much better the LSU, because I definitely think it's addition by subtraction. New DC, a better one, and a lot of injuries on defense too last year. Not going to be the case starting this year. What do you think, Big Ragoo? This is a good game, LSU UCLA.
Yeah, definitely a great game, great opportunity for both teams here. I like Max Johnson. Coach O knows a lot about the West Coast because that's where he got to start. Durante Jones coming in, replacing Pelini. That's going to be a big major upgrade there. He's been around the league, NFL, everywhere. So, and I think it's a class issue here. I think they got better class players. Maybe a little distraction with the hurricane, but that might rally the troops together. Coach O can motivate these kids, and I just think better talent on the LSU side gets the job done. Money line all the way LSU.
All right, DJ, what do you like here, LSU, UCLA?
Oh, man, put me on the other side of the fence, man. I'm taking UCLA, man. It comes down to the quarterbacks in this one. Yeah, the Johnson kid is Brady Johnson's son or nephew, something like that. He's a part of the Brady Johnson family.
Brad Johnson. Yeah.
Brad
It's his son.
Johnson. There you
Yep.
go. Brad Johnson's. I mean, it's a lot of public perception on that. You know, since Burrow been gone, LSU went flat. Everything that they had then left. You know, both of these coaches are heavy on the hot seat. But what I like about Kelly is Kelly went in with the big guns and brought in some transfer players from USC, from Notre Dame, from Alabama, from Michigan, and I mean, Hawaii was a small test, but the defense played really well in all levels of the game. Maybe not as well as pass coverage, but run and rushing the passer and all that, they did really good on defense. But it is going to come down to Dorian Thompson at quarterback. And I said it last week, like the bad part about him is he's a playmaker. He makes plays when plays are already dead. You know what I mean? And that's not a good thing because you don't want to have a series of dead plays that he has to make these wild playmaker type plays. But I think his playmaking ability could take over. But at the same time, the defense over there at UCLA should slow it down. And I watched the interview with Chip Kelly this week, and you know he's excited about this team. Finally, you know he's fired up about this team. This will be a big win for him. They're playing at the Rose Bowl, right? You got all the displacement with LSU. I seen the interview with Orgeron. He was like, man, they put us up in Texas at a nice place. We practice on time and schedule just as we would if we was still at home. So he expects everything to go well. You know, their team, you know, I'm sure some family members that are worried, you know, but the team is well. And they're coming into this Rose Bowl now. Today's supposed to be, it's not. Yesterday the weather was way off. It was a beautiful day yesterday. Today, the heat's supposed to come back today. Right now, we still kind of gloomy out. And it worked like a charm with the under in the Hawaii game in the Rose Bowl. It was like 95 degrees. And, you know, it's getting a lot more humid in LA than it's ever been before. And the Rose Bowl sits down inside of like canyons or whatever, surrounded by mountains, and it sits down. So we knew them guys would get fried and have cramps. They had cramps right away in the fourth quarter. And also UCLA pulled out those starters. Now, I don't expect them to pull out the starters this game right here, but I expect some people to cramp up, even though LSU, they acclimated to the humidity and all that good stuff. But coming out west, getting it how we get it over here, it's a little different. So they're gonna be hit with that. So I like the under. But I'm going Chip Kelly, man. I thought he was gonna be a bust. And when I broke down the Hawaii game last week, I had to jump off of the side and go on to the total because those moves that he made in the offseason, he knows he's on the hot seat. He knows he got to get out of here. And shout out to that nice couple last night. I went and had a steakhouse dinner with the wife down there by the Staples Center and all that stuff. I mean, it was LSU fans everywhere. Like they was like, hey, we was coming to the game anyway, but we can't even be in Louisiana right now. They said they drove all the way to Florida to fly to LA. It's so bad down there. So shout out to them. I told them I'd give them a shout out on the show. But yeah, they said that they think LSU can do it. You know, I told them I don't know. UCLA, you know, they're going to fight. But we'll see.
All right, so like in UCLA, like I say, you can make cases for both sides. That's why it's a great game. BYU, Arizona. I don't think there's a case to be made for Arizona personally, but that's just me. BYU, 12.5-point road favorites, 54 the total. Jed Fish was not a great hire to me. You're talking about an NFL guy that's never shown a thing to be able to translate to the college kids in the past. You know, you've got Gunnar Cruz and Will Plummer both playing against BYU. I don't like that. When you have two quarterbacks starting, it means nobody was good enough in camp to win the starting job. Look, I know BYU lost Zach Wilson, tons of receivers, tons of O-linemen, a lot on defense, lots of lost production. But you basically bring back, or you've got guys to fill those holes that are experienced, that are older in terms of age, and they are very, very high on their quarterback situation. Like they really think the new quarterback taking over here for this BYU offense is going to be quite good, and it wouldn't surprise me to see that be the case here for BYU. I know Zach Wilson, seeing him go is definitely not what you want, but they like Jaron Hall quite a bit. Dual threat quarterback, very good arm. really played well in camp. And Arizona's defense, we saw what happened the last time we saw them play, 70 points allowed. It is going to still be a big work in progress for that Arizona defense to improve. So I like laying the points here with BYU. I know the lost production, but there is a huge class difference still with these teams. I think BYU wins by minimum 2 touchdowns. What do you think here, Conor Mac?
I do too. I'm leaning that way pretty strong. Arizona's just that bad. I know obviously Wilson's gone, but I think Hall will step in. Played a little bit a couple years ago. I think he'll do fine. They have Romney, and I think they'll just pound it with Algier, the running back, Tyler Algier, for BYU. Arizona's defense was just really bad. It'll be tough for him to have stops. BYU's got a tough schedule. I think this is when they could get, and I think they can cover the 12.5 here. Yeah, a couple touchdowns.
All right, Big Ragoo, what do you like here with BYU Arizona?
Yeah, physicality on both sides of the ball with BYU. Push. They're going to have their way with this team without question. 12.5. I think they win by better than 2 scores in this game. I think they win by at least 17 to 20, 24 points.
All right, DJ, anything here for you?
Hey, I back BYU too, man. BYU is one of those teams that's trying to get caught up in all this conference movement and changes and all that good stuff. And in order to get the best seat in that house, then they got to play it out on the field. So I think they start by kicking in. Arizona don't really have nothing to offer them, you know. So I like BYU right here.
Great game here. Totally. People sleeping on this next game we're talking about. Nevada, California. We've got Cal 3-point home favorites, 52.5 the total. Great defensive team, Cal. Great head coach, Justin Wilcox. Great offensive team, Nevada, with Carson Strong. A great O-line, lots of receivers, and a great head coach. Look, Jay Norvell's done a great job at Nevada as well. Very simple game. I can't wait to watch. I'm not betting against either of these teams. I want to bet on them. I think Nevada is going to be a team I'm looking to bet on this year. Same with Cal. I think this is definitely going to be a great football game. The issue with Cal, look, Nevada, this could be their best defense too, because they like their defense as well. Cal is hopeful that this is Chase Garbers finally ready to play well at the quarterback spot, that this could be their best offensive team for the Golden Bears under Wilcox's tenure. We'll see. It's just 2 teams I like, 2 teams I'd rather bet on than bet against, so it's a pass for me. Connor, what do you think? Nevada, Cal?
Yeah, this is a pass for me too, but if I'd lean, I'd take the 3 with Nevada or take a money line. We talked about it, Garbers. He's just garbage until he turns it around. Cal's defense, I think, will be a little bit better at home, but I like Strong and I like UNR, what they're doing. I think this game is tight, so I think it's tight, I'd take the 3 with UNR.
All right. It's been Chase Garbage in years past, not Chase Garbers. We'll see if he can improve on that this year for sure. Big Ragoo, what do you like here? Nevada, Cal?
It's a tug of war game, I call it. You got an outstanding offense versus a pretty darn good defense. And they both are going to – I don't think it's going to be a trench game. Whoever's going to have their way, and I think it's going to come down to coaching. And I think, like you said, Nevada's a better coach. So I would lean towards the over, even though it's at 52 – kind of a short number. I think 53.5, whatever it is. I think they get to that number. I think you might see a tight game going down to the wire and then maybe possible overtime.
All right, DJ Big Boss, Nevada and Cal.
Well, Cal plays the type of defense that's it's hard to describe, but they play a unique type of defense. I'm not a big fan of Jay Norvell and Carson Strong. I mean, right now they just been together the longest, but to me they don't really put it out there on the field like that. So I think California's defense should slow down Nevada a lot. But Cal, like you said, you got Garbage back there. He's got to get a lot better this year. They said from an interview that I seen, they saying that the defense is solid, it's been doing what it's supposed to do, and now it's time to start working on the offense. So if Cal shows up with some offense today, they probably could run away with the game. But if not, then Nevada could definitely win, just because they have all the leadership. But I don't really like Jay Norvell's play calling. I'm not really high on Nevada like that. But in this one, I really like the under. It's already set a little bit low because they already know Cal's coming to play defense, and they're going to be playing in Cal, so that makes a difference as well. So if Cal can get them to play Cal-style ball, this will be a very low-scoring game. But if Jay Novell can break the code on that defense, then he can get up there and
Tug
win.
of war,
and make
man.
it
Tug of
Yep.
war.
So I'm gonna go under on this one.
All right, going with the under. All right, we have 2 games left on the Saturday night card. New Mexico State, San Diego State. San Diego State, the Aztecs, 31-point home favorites, 50.5 the total. If this wasn't Brady Hoke, their head coach, and this wasn't such a methodical, plodding offense, I'd be all over San Diego State and really loving them. I like them. I still did bet them first half and full game, only because I think New Mexico State really, truly could be that bad. Seriously. I mean, you're losing 30-3 to UTEP at home. UTEP, 30-3 at home.
Yeah,
That's where we're at with New Mexico State.
Yeah.
So there's no
How
way
they
I'm
gonna
putting
score
a penny
today?
on this team. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
there's no way I'm putting a penny on this team. Now, can San Diego State just do enough offensively to cover this number? That's the question. It's a very methodical team. Brady Hoke's not the greatest coach in the world. They have not been a great offensive team, and you got to score to cover a number like this, but they just might be able to hand the ball off and get 15, 20-yard chunks against this New Mexico State defense, because that's exactly what UTEP did against them last week. They're that bad. I'm still going to just say, fade them until the betting markets catch up. So, yeah, I got my concerns, San Diego State's offense, but their defense is good. Their defense has been solid, and I wonder if New Mexico State's going to find the end zone at all, because they certainly didn't last week. So I like the Aztecs here, first half, full game. It's just a straight fade of maybe the worst team in FBS college football this year. What do you think, Conor Mac?
Yeah, you said it all. I mean, I think they are the worst team. I don't even know how they score. They're like UMass last year. I don't know if they can get a field goal. Maybe you're right. It's high for San Diego State, but that'd be only take them first half. Or I think they can, like you said, they can just hand it off and get this one. So San Diego State here.
All right, San Diego State. Big Ragoo, what do you think?
I already handicapped this game the way I liked it, and like my buddy Pete Loshak says, cap the capper. Ian, I'm capping you, buddy. Methodical method towards running the ball with Brady Hoke. Slow it down. Mexico State won't score. Guess what? Under.
Yep.
Under. I had under written down all day in this game, so I'm going to the window with the under.
I bet
wouldn't
San
argue
Diego
with
State
that.
unders every game last
There you
year,
go,
and I
brother.
think
There it
they one loss and one push at all those. That's a Noli too. He was all over that, my guy. So
Shout
I
out to
think-
San Diego State unders.
I think this could be 28-3, which means it's bad news if you're laying the points with San Diego State. But I also think it could be 35-38-3. But either way, New Mexico State, I don't honestly think is getting more than 3 points in this game. That's because, look, they couldn't score at home against UTEP's defense. Now they're on the road against an Aztec defense that's on paper's better than UTEP's defense. So where are the points going to come from for New Mexico State? What do you think, DJ?
Okay, let me bring everybody in for a little group hug. Huddle up over here. Okay,
All right,
I'm gonna
group
say
hug.
that
There we go.
I will be going to the game because the tickets were cheap and it's really close. So I will be in the house tonight for this game right here, and I am going to take San Diego State right up to the window, lay that 31, and keep going. Because for one, San Diego State runs a 3-3-5. They should write a manual on running the 3-3-5. They run it to a T so tough. I mean, teams that you could barely pass the ball on, they giving headaches for subpar teams like New Mexico State. So the physicality of the defense playing against this New Mexico State team that's going to be in because they in LA, San Diego State's going to run all up and down this field on them. They always have a solid line, a solid running game. If they don't get to the end zone on the run, they're working on the pass. Now, one of the unique things Brady Hoke came in and said this year is, hey, we got our defense where we want it. We're going to continue to add depth and talent to that. And then on the offensive side of the ball, we're going to try to get better on offense. So he had a 3-man quarterback race this year. And over the spring, you know what he said? And this just stole the cake for me. He said, take the red shirt off the quarterbacks. We're going to run the challenge live, no, not hitting the quarterback, and the toughest player is going to win and be the quarterback. Now, they got that guy as the toughest guy to come in. So I expect this San Diego State offense to kick it up a notch this year. So I think they're going to get to that 31 like it ain't nothing. They might surprise us and put up 45 today. But no way New Mexico State, I even think, gets too far past the 25-yard line unless there's a fumble.
Do they pass the 50?
Yeah.
Shit.
I'm gonna give them past the
45.
50 by default. By default, San Diego might run a bad series, have to punt it, and they might get past the 50.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're going too far inside the 20 for sure. I say they stay out the red zone the whole game. But I'm definitely gonna be in the house. I'm taking that one. I like the underlook as well. But I'm gonna just stay there and go Aztecs with them all
Late.
night and run up the score and run up my beer tab as well.
Yeah, Jordan Brookshire is going to be the quarterback for San Diego State. And look, there's no difference with him and Lucas Johnson, who was the other starter last year. He got hurt, and Brookshire came in. He was good enough. The quarterback is just a placeholder with San Diego State. It's just running the football is the key, and they should be able to just line it up and run right down New Mexico State's throat here. All right, the final game tonight, and then we'll also break down the Sunday game and the Monday game to wrap it up, and then best bets for this marathon show. Utah State, Washington State. Washington State 17-point home favorites, 66.5 the total. I laid the points with Washington State. I'm a Rolovich guy. I think he's a good coach. Utah State is just, I think they're a complete and utter mess, train wreck, bottom tier. Mountain West team coming into this year, going back to the well. We'll see how he fares here. But Blake Anderson, I like. He's a good coach, did a good job at Arkansas State, but I think it's going to take a lot of time here. He brings in Logan Bonner as his quarterback, so there's familiarity with the coach and the quarterback. But the defense was terrible last year in that 1-5 disappointing year. And I think it's going to be trouble for them early on. I think Washington State with Rolovich back, Jaden DeLaura, I think he's going to get the start. I mean, there was talk that Guarantano, the Tennessee transfer, was battling him, but I think Rolovich, from what I'm hearing, he's going to make the right decision and go with Jaden DeLaura. You don't let the young kid win or lose with him. Don't go to Guarantano. Don't do it. I mean, don't pull the string on the young kid. So good job by Rolovich if DeLaura's starting, and it sounds like he will. I just think it's a tough ask for Utah State. Not that they can't be good in time. Good hire by Blake Anderson from Arkansas State, but I just think it's going to take time. I agree with the move toward the home favorite here, Washington State, in this game. And there'll be a team I'll be looking to back and make some money with. I think they could be a bet on team in spots. Still some questions on defense, but still there's equally more questions with Utah State in my mind. What do you think here, Conor Mac? Utah State, Washington State.
Yeah, they better play Jaden DeLaura. I don't know why you'd want to start the Tennessee transfer on that guy. Don't do it. But it's a lot of points. I like Washington State a little bit. Their schedule's tough. I think they win this game and they might cover. It's just kind of a lot here in this spot. I don't know what. Yeah, we're going to see out of Utah State this year. They're going to be down again. Lean Washington State, but I don't think I'm going to play it.
All right, Big Ragoo, what do you think here? Aggies and Cougs.
I'm with Connor on this one. I think Wazoo's defense will get a little bit better this year. I think Utah State's in a bad spot here. Just like you said, the first-year coach with Anderson and the familiarity with Bonner, his quarterback back at Park State. So, they did some good things back there, but now they're in a different spot. So, I don't want to lay the 17. You're probably right, Ian, but I'm just going to sit back and watch this one.
All right, DJ, what do you think? Utah State, Washington State.
I'm not too sure about how well Washington State's going to play on the field. They kind of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde sometimes when it comes to their performance on the field. On paper, they look great to win this game. But Blake Anderson, Utah State, man, he was the king of Juncos and transfer plug-and-play guys all over the field. And, sometimes you can get a good group of Juncos and transfers, and sometimes, it's the worst decision you made. So some of his transfers is players that played for him before. Like I said, he got I believe his name is Justin Rice, the linebacker. He's a stud. That guy is a stud. And he came from Arkansas State with him, went over to Fresno State for a year, was a stud for Fresno State, and now he jumps back over here with Anderson. So for the fact that these guys have followed this guy like this, I think that it says a lot about his coaching. So he could move and will and deal. It'll be more like a will and deal if he pulls off something good in this game right here. But I think he has better success in the conference play. But right here, I think he may be able to backdoor cover this one. But I'm gonna stay off of it. But I wouldn't say he's that bad of a coach to put the 18 on him. But he could close it down and maybe lose by 14 or something like that. So I'm gonna leave it alone though.
All right, we have got 2 more games, but they are not today. They are Sunday and Monday. Notre Dame, Florida State, Sunday night. Notre Dame 7-point road favorites, 55.5 here in Tallahassee. I kind of like
Yikes.
the Noles a little bit here in this one, just because Notre Dame does have to replace Ian Book, replace a lot of offensive linemen. That's where the issue is going to be for them. Florida State defense should be better. I'm hearing good things about Florida State's defense. Now, again, that's in camp. There's been teams I've heard good things about in camp with their defense, then they didn't play well on defense, like East Carolina coming to mind a couple nights ago. But nevertheless, I'm hearing good things, improvement on that side of the ball. They got a good quarterback, regardless of who plays and who gets the snaps, Jordan Travis or Mackenzie Milton, coming off that awful injury. But we know if he's even, close to 100% health, he is a very good quarterback. He can play for this team. So I would expect good things from either quarterback. Mike Norvell, now things are going to improve as he gets, more years under his belt here with Florida State. He's still recruiting very well. It's just, to me, asking a lot to win by more than a touchdown here for Notre Dame in their opener. And don't forget the emotional and tangible element of it. Bobby Bowden passing away. That's going to get the Florida State football team riled up, and there'll be a lot of emotion in the building. They're going to do probably a tribute or ceremony before the game for their legendary head coach who passed away recently. Florida State's worth a bet here, I think, at least a 7.5. If you can get that number above a touchdown or at a touchdown, that's the side I'd go with here. I think we got a ball game, competitive game. Not saying Notre Dame will be upset or lose, but I think they'll be in for a battle here. What do you think, Conor Mac? Notre Dame, Florida State.
Yeah, I think Florida State will be better. I mean, that was just such a rough year last year. Ragoo can go into it more. That's his team year in a second. But I think, Norvell's second year, all the COVID, all the problems they had, I think they'll be better. I don't know. This game, I think will be close because Notre Dame, I'm not a big Jack Cohn fan. He's going to be the quarterback now for the Irish, laying over a touchdown. I just don't really like it. I think Notre Dame's defense will be pretty good. That'll keep them in games. Some of these, they have a tough schedule like they always do. One of the tops in the country. But, yeah, I have no bet on this one. I mean, maybe Florida State to cover, but nothing on here.
All right, here he is. He knows Florida State well. Big Ragoo,
All too
Florida
well.
State, Notre Dame.
All too well the past few years. But, yeah, definitely on the improve without a doubt. Norvell, he has recruited well. I'll tell you something about the defense. They're very fast. That I can tell you. They need to make the tackles, though. They need to get to the ball and make the tackles. They'll swarm the ball. And there's question marks on Notre Dame side. Like you said, the quarterback, we'll see. But, Kelly's a great coach, too. So this is going to be a classic matchup. And I think the emotion is going to be a big part early on. So my look for this game is definitely taking Florida State in the first half. And to kind of, there's going to be a lot of motion on the field. And I'm going to take Florida State. Probably a little sprinkle on the money line and take the points in the first half. That's my look. And hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully they both play a solid football game both ways.
Yeah, and definitely Jack Cohn. We still got to see what he's made of too. Wisconsin transfer was inconsistent to say the least at Wisconsin. We'll see how he goes. And we got the Notre Dame fan now. That side of it from DJ Big Boss. What do you think of your Notre Dame FSU?
Oh man, I really wish. I'm probably going to get to the window because it's going to be Sunday anyway. But at this point, it's no play for me. I have to see what Notre Dame has to offer on the field. I mean, it's kind of mysterious that Kelly lines his ducks up like that. That he falls in this year with only 4 offensive returners, and you're not supposed to coach like that, But Notre Dame has no problem bringing in talent, especially at the offensive line and the running back spots. But the quarterback has always been the Achilles heel for Notre Dame, and getting this guy from Wisconsin over here, it's two theories to that, right? You can look at it as, hey, maybe Cohen felt like his talents were better than Wisconsin, just handing the ball off all day. He wants to come play under Kelly, where Kelly run a dynamic offense where he can actually throw the ball sometimes. But that questions, well, are you that good to be that type of quarterback? So if he's a lot better than we've ever seen, then we may have a good season at Notre Dame. If not, I'm looking at maybe. Man, I'm looking at 6 wins, man. I don't think we're gonna do very well out there, even though the defense will hold up in a lot of places. without the talent on offense, the defense is just going to get tired out on the field. So in this game right here, though, with Florida State, I mean, this game sounds nice. Notre Dame versus Florida State. I mean, but Florida State, they have their own turmoil as well. Like, they nobody said that they top tier already. They got a lot to prove on the field. So we'll see what they come up with today. We'll see what not today, on Sunday. We'll see what Notre Dame comes out with. Maybe I have to go in live. If I might have to go live, maybe like in the second quarter, because the first quarter, if Notre Dame starts doing good, I'm gonna be like, and I'll probably get kicked in the head at the end. But I'm gonna wait till the second quarter, see which way the game is swaying, and try to catch a live one on that one.
Yeah, that might be a decent way to go about it. All right, final game. Here it is. Labor Day, Monday night. Louisville, Ole Miss. We've got Ole Miss around 9.5-point home favorites now in this one on Monday night. The total is very high, as you'd expect in a game involving this offense, 76. That's pretty much 10 now across the board, actually. Now, Lane Kiffin gets COVID-19. We heard about it. Breaking news this morning. He won't be on the sideline. He'll probably still be in communication with them leading up to this game. I think Ole Miss offense, Matt Corral is a dark horse Heisman contender in my mind. The offense should be outstanding. The defense was awful last year, but it should be better. Louisville's defense wasn't really anything great last year. And to me, I've got questions. Scott Satterfield was openly looking for another head coaching job last year, and instead he's back at Louisville. So I don't know if that's a good vibe for Louisville coming into this year. Their defense couldn't stop the run, torch through the air. Mikhail Cunningham, whatever first name he's calling himself this year, was inconsistent to the quarterback spot for Louisville. And he's lost, Tutu Atwell, Hawkins, a great receiver. I mean, a couple of skill position guys lost. The O-line still a little bit in shambles. The number's getting up there, but I did lay 8.5 is what I got with Ole Miss. It was about a month ago. 10, I still lean Ole Miss. I think they can run away with a 2-touchdown win. I got worries about Louisville. There are other teams I like in the ACC more than Louisville, and I think that defense, based on what I saw last year, how are they going to slow down this juggernaut, potentially Ole Miss offense with Matt Corral, a great quarterback, dual threat? So I think it's going to be a tough ask for Louisville. I'd only look to the home favorite. Conor Mac, what do you think here, Louisville, Ole Miss?
Yeah, Louisville just really struggled last year. I don't know what we're going to get. Ole Miss going to just sling it, score a bunch of points. You're right. Atwell's gone. That's a big one. Cunningham's the only consistent. I think he'll be okay at quarterback. Their defense, they got to tackle better. And I don't know how much tackling there'll be in this game. The total 76. I think there'll be a ton of points. Didn't like Louisville, but maybe at 10, they're getting a little intriguing. They could stay in this game because I don't know about Ole Miss defense if they're ready to step up. Because they were in a lot of games, but scored a ton, just back, forth. So I lean Louisville that it's getting up to 10 points here.
All right, Big Ragoo, Louisville, Ole Miss.
Louisville is one of those teams that really disappointed last year because we figured they would take a step forward. With all the offensive weapons they have, they just kind of shit the bed last year. Yeah. The defense was horrendous. So I don't see anything in a spot here. And Satterfield, like you said, is not a good look. Going out and looking for a job, I mean, that's surprising. But, I mean, if they turn around and they perform up to their potential, I mean, they should score points here. And Ole Miss, I would think they would have to improve a little bit on defense. So it has all the makings of the over, but at 76, that's such a big friggin' number, dude. Yeah. It's friggin' nuts. This game here, I'm probably going to – it's an Ole Miss or pass for me, but I'm probably not going to get to the window.
All right, DJ Big Boss, Louisville, Ole Miss.
This one right here, I don't really see where the books get the 10 from. I think these two teams are a lot closer than 10. 7.5 might have a little better, but give me the 10 and I'll take Louisville because I don't think they're two different styles of play. They had two different levels. Like Big Ragoo just mentioned, we expected a lot better out of Louisville last year. It was a COVID season. Sometimes you got to throw some of that to the side, and this guy did hang on, to his job, and Ole Miss this game could gather his troops, could further make his job situation a lot better. So I don't think he's 10 points off, win or lose.
All right, so lean to Louisville here at plus 10. Again, questions on defense. Satterfield flirting with other jobs in the offseason, which is shows you questions about his commitment to Louisville and coaching this program. So a lot of issues on and off the field for Louisville, and I think I'm high on Ole Miss. I think they're actually upper echelon in the SEC this year, and that defense will be a lot better for them as well. But we'll see on Monday night. Very interesting game with Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin there. There's some expectations now with that program. Great stuff. Analysis, huge long show. We're not going to do 3 hours every week. We're just going to do 2 hours every week the rest of the season. This one went long. We wanted to do every game, get everybody's thoughts. It's the first game of the year. Just get a thought on every team. We'll go shorter, 2 hours max, starting next week. But thanks to everybody in the chat for joining us. We'll get to best bets in just a second to wrap it up. But first, messages from Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, there we go. Southtown 101, San Antonio, Texas. When you stop in there, make sure great food, great drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Southtown 101 in San Antonio. Manscaped, promo code PubSports. You get 20% off your purchase using the promo code PubSports of the Lawnmower 4.0 and every Manscaped product, promo code PubSports. And MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. Football season's here. Sign up at mybookie.ag. Get yourself ready to bet some football. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. Check it out, mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, let's wrap up the show, and this is what we'll do at the end of every Saturday morning college football show the rest of the year. We'll wrap up with best bets. We did good with them last year. See if we can do them as well this year again. Conor Mac, what do you like for best bet?
Oh, man, there's a ton I have here. I'm not going to go with the dog. I'm in at week one. I'm going with the favorite. The more I just like it. I'm just taking Georgia Tech first half -10 over Northern Illinois. I think they beat up on them early. So Georgia Tech first half -10.
Georgia Tech -10 first half against Northern Illinois. Best bet for Conor Mac. Big Ragoo, what do you got for your first best bet of the season?
Well, my best bet was Army +115 early. I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm going to go back to the other coast. I'm going to go to the left coast where my buddy's at, and I'm going to take LSU to get the job done today. LSU, they come together. They go back to Louisiana with their families. Everybody's happy. See you next week.
There you go. LSU to get the job done against is that money line or -2.5?
That's money line. I'm sorry,
Just
money line.
All right, good job. LSU money
line. -140, I think.
Yep. Yeah, -140 in that range. Yeah, against UCLA. Best bet for Big Ragoo. DJ, Big Boss, what do you got for best bet?
Hey, it's super chalky, but since I'm going to be in the building for the game,
there you go.
I'm taking San Diego State, laying the points. So
I like it.
That's where I'm at with it.
All right, San Diego State -31 against New Mexico State. Best bet for DJ, Big Boss. My best bet is going to be, I'm going to go with, let's go with the total there. Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State over 53. Close. I almost used UTSA, but I'm going to stay off. That's one of my favorites, UTSA, but everybody loves it. I'll go with Louisiana Tech, Mississippi State over 53. Will Rogers and that air raid offense should be better in the second year for Mississippi State. La Tech, better on offense, I think, than on defense. Still room to improve there. So I think you'll see points. La Tech, Mississippi State in the Battle of the Bulldogs. I think that game goes over the total for my best bet. That'll wrap up this first edition of the Pub Sports Radio Saturday morning college football betting preview show. We will be back next Saturday and every Saturday during the college football season, 10 a.m. Eastern. 7 a.m. Pacific, right here on Pub Sports Radio, the four of us. And Connor and I will be with you with Sharpie tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific for the MLB closing time show. For Conor Mac, for Big Ragoo, for DJ Big Boss, I'm Ian Cameron. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on your way out, and we will be back with you next Saturday once again for the Pub Sports Radio Saturday morning college football show right here on Pub Sports Radio. Enjoy the games and good luck.